We welcome all of the Tabor College fans.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the campus of Tabor College as we are getting ready to start the new football season here for the Tabor Blue Jays as their home opener is tonight against Southwestern College. I'm Jim Paulus, and I'm thrilled here to be joined by Charles Beal. How you doing, Charles?
I'm good, Jim. It's a pleasure being in the booth with a Tabor legend like yourself.
Well, it's sure nice. If you've heard our telecast the last few years, you've undoubtedly heard the words Charles Beal before, as he's a former all-conference performer here as a wide receiver and punt returner and kickoff returner. And we're glad to have him here in the booth to share. And so we are excited here for the opener, the home opener. Blue Jays have had a couple games on the road. They started down at Southwest Assemblies of God, got a non-conference victory, and then had a tough draw here, the conference opener at Kansas Wesleyan, who, of course, returns from their playoff appearance last year and is a preseason pick to win the conference and a preseason, I think they're in the top 5 in the country. And so that was a tough. Blue Jays hung tough, though, Charles. They were only down a few that half, but then Kansas Wesleyan pulled away.
And the Blue Jays are breaking in a brand new offensive coordinator, a Tabor alum, Ryan Nelson. He got his Tabor coaching career off to a great start at SAGU with that victory. And, of course, it's a tough draw when you have one of the tougher teams, not only in the conference, but in the country in K-Dub. And the Blue Jays hung tough in the first half, 10-6, and Kansas Wesleyan pulled away in the second half. But the Blue Jays are entertaining a mound builder team that is 0-2, but they're coming off a heartbreaking loss against Ottawa last week.
Yeah, as you mentioned that the Southwestern mound builders had a nice lead at the half, unable to hold on. Both teams didn't score in the fourth quarter, but Ottawa was able to come away with that victory, and Ottawa is in the top 25, and so the fact that Southwestern was able to hang tight, and they lost 35-34, and so they're looking for their first victory. This is also their first road game, so it'll be interesting to see how that all gets going here. We're about 6 minutes from kickoff, so I think we will take a look at some starting lineups. Let's see here. I think we will start with the mound builders, the guest here, and we do have a late scratch with their roster, something that's going to be pretty significant for the game. So, but starting at quarterback for Southwestern is a freshman out of Springdale, Arkansas, William Mueller. At tailback will be usually is Keyshawn Wyatt. We heard this afternoon Charles is able to talk to the Southwestern coach, and he's being held out for some medical reasons today, and so they will bring in what is that, Justin Williams or
Jesse Thomas?
Jesse Thomas, yeah. So he's a senior. He'll be coming in. So we don't know much about him, and that's a big blow for the mound builders, and so we'll see how that plays out for them. Going through the more of the offense here for Southwestern at tight end, number 88, Stone Hagman, is a senior from Kingman, Kansas. Wide receiver, Tanner Spencer. And he's a returning honorable mention from all conference last year. Wide receiver Brooks Shannon. He comes with 3 touchdowns so far this year. He's a senior from Mississippi. Wide receiver Edric Gonzalez. He's also a senior, and he was a second-teamer last year. Along the offensive line, left tackle Marcus Miyataki, a junior. Left guard Yancey Vondasel. Center, and this is another key returner for them, Dustin Rivera. He was a first-teamer last year, and he is a junior from Buckeye, Arizona. Right guard John Smith III, and right tackle Octavius Ford. All right, maybe we'll swing over and do the Blue Jays here, and then we'll swing back and do the defense.
Starting for the Blue Jays in his second season at quarterback is a sophomore from Florida is Trey McGee, and at tailback Josh Johnson, who's in his second year as a starter for the Blue Jays. He's a senior from California. And at the receiver position is veteran Justin Swims. He came back. He played a couple years ago, and he came back this year, and he's starting for them. And he's from Flint, Michigan. And also an up-and-coming player for the Blue Jays at the other wide receiver position, Derek Harper, talking to Ryan Nelson yesterday. They're going to look to get the ball into his hands as many ways as possible. So look for him running routes and also in the backfield taking some carries. Landon Jones, they call him the super back, but we can call him the H-back or fullback. Tight end starting is dual sport athlete Seth Swiderski. Seth is out of Michigan. And going to the offensive line, a veteran offensive lineman starting at left tackle, A.J. Williams from Mesquite, Texas. And also at left guard is Zion Bowens from New Orleans, Louisiana. At center, Roy Scott, a redshirt junior from Houston, Texas. At right guard, Aaron Burns, another redshirt junior, but he's from Washington. At right tackle, Ryan O'Leary is a redshirt freshman from Litchfield Park, Arizona.
Now, Charles, I know you talked to Coach Nelson and also Coach Gardner, and I think they've been talking a little bit just about the young offensive line and how important it is that group comes together, and maybe tell us a little bit about what you're hearing from them. And
Well, basically, the offensive line for the Blue Jays is going to take them as far as they can go, because where the offensive line goes, if they don't perform, the Blue Jays offense is not going to have a good game. But if they perform up to their potential, Ryan Nelson thinks that they can perform, they're going to have a solid offensive attack. But unfortunately, last week, not the best of performances, and you see that with the loss to K-Dub. But skill positions, they're just as good as anybody in the conference, especially with Derek Harper. He's been in the program. This is his third year, and he has the best footwork on this Tabor team and one of the best footwork in the conference. So the Blue Jays, skill position-wise, can compete with anybody. And also Ryan Nelson said about sophomore quarterback Trey McGee, he is as cool as the other side of the pillow.
That's great. And so, the Blue Jays are coming onto the field. The Blue Jay being rode in on a Harley there by men's basketball coach Micah Ratzliff. Hopefully a new tradition starting, and got some guys bringing in the flag. So, yeah, you mentioned, it's odd for, I've been doing this for a few years here watching the Blue Jays, and to see them struggle to run the ball is not something I'm used to seeing. They just year in and year out, and with the changes at that, and then, again, the offensive line turnover the last couple of years, it'll be interesting to see how that group develops.
And Ryan Nelson, by trade, is a spread offense type of guy. He came out of California in high school, ended up at Northern Arizona, which is an FCS Division I level school, and ended up transferring to Tabor. And at the time, Coach Billy Hickman was here, and they were strictly running the triple option, just like Navy or Army. And Ryan Nelson, not the most fleet of foot athlete while he was here, but he had one of the best arms Tabor's probably had in their history. And he ended up leading Tabor to their second ever playoff victory. So by trade, he is a spread guy, and he likes to toss the ball around. But with the offensive line, the way that they are structured, they're just not going to be able to pound the ball up the middle like they have in the past.
Yeah, it is great to have Ryan back on campus. It's good to see him. So let's maybe swing over and talk about defense here. Maybe I'll do the Tabor defense, and wait for Charles to do Southwestern. And so the defenders here for Tabor, at the end position, a redshirt sophomore, Amadric Pelican. He got some good minutes last year as a freshman. At tackle, Parker Folks. He is a redshirt sophomore from Clay Center. At nose guard, I think it's going to be Kadarius Flowers, because Jawan Thompson is out with injury. At the other end, Josh Laosi, who is a returning all-conference player. He's a senior from East Palo Alto, California. And the linebacker crew, they're led by, in middle linebacker, by Elvin Turner, who was unable to play last year, sat out last year, and so he's coming back for his senior year. Great start for Elvin, 22 tackles so far in his first couple games back. Had a chance to talk to him. He's real excited to be back on the field. Also at linebacker, a couple sophomores that have really stepped up here this year, Gabe Erickson and Gunnar Reese of nearby McPherson, Kansas. And then the secondary, who's another really talented group, very young last year, but now they've gotten some experience. At the cornerback position, redshirt junior Caleb Devine, and at the other corner, James Lang, and then free safety Ray Peralt and Devontae Tolles, who is a redshirt senior from Gaddison, Alabama. And we'll switch over here for Southwestern.
And as you see, the Blue Jays are going to be receiving the opening kickoff. The kicker for Southwestern is Alfredo Botello. Real quickly, we'll go through the defense, and I'll actually highlight 3 of the main players that Coach Gardner for the Blue Jays actually highlighted, and that's going to be Darren Hicks. He's a sophomore defensive end leading the Southwestern team in sacks, and also 2 stud linebackers, Israel Harper and Grant Torgerson. Both of them are first and second in the team, respectively, in tackles and tackles for loss.
I did notice that Torgerson had 111 tackles last year, and he returns in that middle linebacker position. So here we are again, home opener. Beautiful night here in Hillsboro, just around the high 80s right now. Nice breeze, nice evening to be out here, and we're getting ready here to start this home schedule. Kick is deep, and that will be touchback for the Blue Jays. The kicker there for Southwestern, he is actually, as a freshman, was the KCAC Special Teams Player of the Year. So look for him to have an effect on this game as well. So let's see this Blue Jay offense here. Really curious to see how they do here against Southwestern. Southwestern gave up a lot of yards last week to Ottawa, 400 in the air and 500 total. So let's see if the Blue Jays can get the ball moved here in this first possession.
And this game will be decided. This is the key matchup: the Blue Jay offense versus this Mound Builder defense. Blue Jays have struggled at time to run the ball and sometimes pass the ball as well. And as you mentioned, the Mound Builder defense really giving up a lot of yards to the Ottawa team last week.
Josh Johnson up the middle is able to get a couple yards. That'll be around 2nd and 8. Johnson again, that's senior from Fontana, California.
Blue Jays coming into the game averaging 250 yards total per game and total offense, and the Mound Builders are just a touch under 300 at 299.
So 2 split out to the right, 1 to the left here. Another handoff. No, keeper for McKee. He runs to the right side here, looked for a couple blocks and able to get upfield for the first down. Nice run by the sophomore quarterback.
And you really have to give a lot of credit to number 17, Landon Jones. He was out there as an option back, but McGee decided to keep the option as a keeper. And Landon out there, being the veteran that he is, throwing a nice block to spring him for a first down run.
As you mentioned, that's called that super back this year. 1st and 10 Blue Jays on their 40. McKee looks across, rolls to the right, has a little room, gets up a little bit, and hit out of bounds. Looks like about a 5-yard gain. He wanted to get the ball upfield, didn't see anything he wanted, and so it ran it up the right side for a 5-yard gain.
Trey McGee still a young quarterback, and he kind of looked downfield at the last second and tucked the ball and ran. But if he would have waited for a moment, he had Derek Harper rerouting downfield wide open. But nonetheless, the Blue Jays set up with 2nd and 5.
Just shy of midfield. McKee gets some instructions, moves some guys around. McKee rolls to the right. Nice block by Johnson. McKee again trying to get it up, and maybe let's see where they spot this. Maybe a yard or 2, bring up 3rd and short. So big call here, big play, 3rd down here in this opening drive.
And they're going to bring in the bruising back, Barrett Smith. Number 40, not the tallest of characters, but he's over 220 pounds. He is as strong as an ox.
Barrett from here locally, here Center High School in Lincolnville. Johnson takes it right up the gut, and he is held strong there, unable to, maybe even lost a yard, and that'll bring up 4th and 4.
And right there leading the charge for the Mound Builder defense is Zach Gray, a senior from West Point, Texas. And the defensive line for Southwestern having a lot of penetration of that Blue Jays offensive line. Grant Torgerson in there as well.
So after getting a first down, the offense stalls, and that'll bring out the punting unit here. 13-10 left in this first quarter.
Edric Gonzalez, the senior specialist, is back there deep. He's also a receiver for the Mound Builders. As Chiavetta's punt is caught inside the 20, not fair caught. And so Gonzalez is able to get a couple of yards, but not much after that.
Nice punt and coverage. There is a flag on the play. Let's see what the call is here.
True freshman DeJuan Jones, the Blue Jays on the tackle. He is out of Fort Worth, Texas.
See here what the call is.
Number 25, kicking team, 15-yard penalty from the end of the kick. First down.
So that'll be a 15-yard advance there for the Mound Builders as their personal foul face mask by the Blue Jays.
It's going to be very interesting to see this Mound Builder offense without their star running back, Keyshawn Wyatt. And in 2 games, he was averaging well over 100 yards per game from scrimmage. It's a key loss for the Mound Builders, who love to run the ball. And they're actually missing their top 2 running backs. Their second one, Jaquil's Coleman.
Yeah, I was really looking forward to seeing Wyatt rush. Again, he's returning all conference, over 2,000 yards in his career, and he's only a couple games into his junior year.
And this is what Coach Brad Griffin has said. The wide receiver number 10, Tanner Spencer, lined up in Wildcat. He actually took the snap and ran forward for a hefty gain for about 7 yards. So it'll be 2nd and 3.
7 yards on the carry. 2nd and 3.
Yeah, it was good that you got to visit with the coach there and get some insight. Because I also wonder if the Blue Jay defense, how ready they are for this. As again, looks like Spencer's back there.
Spencer is a senior from Ark City, Kansas. He's been in this program all 4 years, I believe. He's actually going to throw the ball this
Quick
time.
throw out to the left side. Terrell Lightfoot gets it across the first down marker and midfield into Blue Jay territory, just barely, and that'll be 1st and 10 for the Mound Builders.
Results in a Mound Builder first down.
So in 3 games, the Mound Builders have started on paper 3 different quarterbacks. The first game, Whitfield took the start. Last week, it was William Mueller who took over in the second half of their first game against Midland, and Tanner Spencer, the receiver by trade, starting this week.
And again, in the Wildcat, nice penetration there by the Blue Jays. Able to take him for a sack. I think Lawsey was back there. A couple other Blue Jays.
And there was just the entire defensive line did a good job getting in the backfield on that play. And you see Mueller coming in now as a traditional quarterback. And it's kind of like the Kansas State offense when Bill Snyder was there recently. Quarterback having the run-pass option as he's going towards the line of scrimmage there. So look out for that when Spencer is behind at center.
2nd and 13. Mueller's back in.
It's a good play there by the cornerback, and he actually has a couple picks on the season for the Blue Jays. Number 27, James Lang, leading the team in interceptions.
So the Blue Jays will need to keep an eye on this as again, they go back to the freshman quarterback. 3rd down and
Make some
10.
noise, Blue Jay fans. It's 3rd down.
Speaking to Coach Griffin before the game, he says that Mueller may not have the strongest of arms, but he is accurate, and he definitely has some solid touch.
He has some time, throws it deep up over the middle and just overthrows his receiver. Number 1, Terrell Lightfoot.
Lightfoot was streaking. He had to step on Raymond Peralt, but that pass was just overthrown. And also a wide receiver to keep an eye on is Brooks Shannon. Only 3 catches coming into this game, but all 3 catches have gone in the end zone.
So that'll bring out the Mountain Ridge's punting unit as that 4th down and 10. Derek Harper and James Lang are around the 10-yard line. Dalton Rogers, punter from Southwestern. A high one over on the right side, and that'll go out of bounds. Let's see where they spark that. Probably around the 15 or 16, we'll see. Oh, generous spot there at the 13-yard line. Blue Jays will take over.
Blue Jays had a good start in their first possession, Trey McGee using his feet, but then the defensive line of the Mound Builders really started to get some solid push up front. So it's really key for the Blue Jays to establish that running game, especially on the perimeter. Coach Nelson wasn't too sure if they were able to get the inside zone plays going. So again, watch for Harper on the outside to come in motion and some triple option a la Coach Hickman back in the day.
So 3 wide receivers out right here.
Southwestern looks to be in a traditional 2-high safety set. And again,
Another run up the middle that's stuffed. Looks like a loss of at least 2.
that's going to be number 6, Israel Harper, the linebacker, jetting into the backfield, getting another TFL.
And you said that Coach Griffin mentioned Harper as someone that could be impactful for tonight's game.
And even Coach Gardner talked about the 2 linebackers. That they have a crew, and he was speaking very highly of both Torgerson and Harper. Whenever you can put a couple of really solid linebackers together, they really create a lot of havoc for opposing offenses.
2nd and 11 here for the Blue Jays. Quick pass out to Johnson on the right. Got some room here. Able to get across the 20-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd and short. Gives a little bit of room here for the Blue Jay offense.
Pretty decent blocking on the perimeter there. Justin Swims is a big-bodied receiver. He was out there along with number 87, Lawrence Plummer.
So 3rd and 1. You got to play with Justin, is that right?
Yeah, Justin was there my senior year. He actually was honorable mention on conference at receiver in 2017. Feels like a couple decades ago. Lawrence Plummer, he's split out at, however, he's listed as a tight end. Ooh, that's...
Let's see what the call is here.
Flags on the play.
Good acting job by I believe it was number 50, the center for the Blue Jays.
And everyone's shifting to the right. So it looks like Blue Jays will have a first down on that defensive encroachment
Number 92.
to the 27-yard line. 1st and 10 Blue Jays.
First down.
Bix Gall, the center,
The penalty results
was
in
able to do a
another
good
Tabor
job as soon as he
College.
was touched. As soon as he was touched, he just flopped over. An Academy Award is going Bix's way. Solid job.
First and 10 Blue Jays. Bumped into his back there. He's only able to get up a couple yards.
Number 19, Kerryon Dodson, listed as a DB. However, this 219, this is probably Lawyer Davis, the 5'10 junior from Junction City, Kansas, by way of Garden City Community
1 yard
College.
gain on the play. 2nd and 9.
So not the cleanest of exchanges there. That slowed him up a bit. And that'll bring up 2nd and 9.
You know, this is very interesting. When I played here for Tabor, teams always ran a cover 3 and pack the box. Now teams are running 2 high safeties, and it's just, you can just tell the Blue Jays are passing a little bit more, and that looked like a lateral.
And that'll go out of bounds. Thankfully, that did scoot out of bounds. Although it is a loss, it's better than losing possession here, and that'll bring up 3rd and long. That just didn't seem to come out of McKee's hand clean at all.
No, there was pressure there on the play for Trey, but you just got to throw a little bit better ball than that to Johnson. It was well over his head, but fortunately, as you mentioned, it went out of bounds. Be 3rd and half of Marion County.
So all the way back to the 18-yard line. See what Coach Nelson draws up here. As he
3rd and 19 on the play.
motions it, or he gives signals into McKee. Play clock at 9 seconds. Just about 8 minutes left in this first quarter. And Johnson runs it up off the right tackle and only gets a couple. And that'll bring in the punting unit for sure, as the Blue Jays unable to get any more momentum here in this second drive.
Coach Nelson going very conservative there, being 3rd down and forever, instead of forcing things with the pass. So I think that was the right call there by Coach Nelson, as the punter, Joe Chiavetta, comes back out as Edric Gonzalez is back deep for the Mound Builders.
He's just around the 50, though. High pick. And he's going to let it drop, and it just stays right there, and the Blue Jays will touch it. But they're just near midfield where Southwestern will take over here. 7:20 in the first quarter. Still no score. And let's see what the Mound Builders do here. As I said, they've shifted a bit with quarterback and even in scheme, wildcat, and traditional. And so I'm really curious to see how they move forward here with their offense.
And we should mention the wind is definitely a factor. It's going to blow from your right to left. And as you saw in that punt, kind of held up. So the Mound Builders do have the wind. So maybe the Blue Jays are waiting until they get the wind to throw.
Of the third quarter. They have Dale's sausage, cheeseburgers, hot dogs, and more delicious items.
Speaking to the defensive coordinator for the Blue Jays, Coach Hill, he's been really high on Raymond Peralt, the junior safety. Had a pick 6 against Sagu in week 1. As you see, sometimes he comes down as the 4th linebacker / bandit safety.
Mueller hands it off. Run lots of room on that right side. Nice cut inside and gets all the way near the 20-yard line. 30-yard run. Is it by number 9?
It's Brooks Shannon, the big play receiver who only had 3 catches on the season for touchdowns. He takes a speed sweep out, and you could just tell that he has a playmaking ability.
As you mentioned, 3 touchdowns on the year. And the chains move all the way up as Southwestern is near the red zone. 1st and 10 on the Blue Jay 21-yard line.
Oh, and the Mound Builders fortunate there that a flag was thrown right before the snap.
Flags on the play.
As Mueller was not able to handle that snap as Shannon was going in motion. And going back to Shannon, he is a good-looking receiver at 6'3", only 185 pounds, but he definitely has that long stride, and he's able to get away from the defenders when he needs to.
So that'll push Southwestern back to the 26-yard line.
1st and 15.
1st and 15. Hand up the middle. Able to get near the original line of scrimmage. And that'll bring up, let's see, 2nd and 9. That was number 28, Jesse Thomas, again filling in for
2nd and 9.
Keyshawn Wyatt, who again will not be playing tonight.
Gunnar Reese and Gabe Erickson on the tackle.
Again, Thomas. Nice penetration there by the Blue Jays. Turner meets him, and that'll be a loss of a couple.
Elvin Turner, the senior out of Chicago, Illinois. The guys on the sideline call him Buka. And he's
lost a yard on the play.
Talking to both Coach
Make
Gardner
some
and
noise,
Coach Hill,
Tabor
they say
fans.
that
It's
he
3rd
excels
down.
at getting downfield from his linebacker position. He really just reads the plays, and he fills into those gaps really quickly.
I know he was really hard for Turner to not play last year, so he's been really excited to be back here on Blue Jay home turf. 3rd and 10. Mueller moves around, and he's able to elude one tackler, but not the next, and that will be right at the line of scrimmage. And that'll bring up 4th down, and we're going to get to see this KCAC again, the Special Teams Player of the Year, come out and probably do a field goal attempt.
Quarterback carry results in no gain. 4th down.
Sophomore from Dallas, Texas.
And again, it's important to point out that he's kicking with the wind. We saw him in warm-ups kicking 30 yards field goals to left to right in the opposite direction, and he wasn't even making it to the goalpost. So an all-conference kicker was affected by the wind in warm-up, so he's kicking with the wind now.
Kick is up, has the distance, and then that is good. And the Southwestern's the first to crack the scoreboard here with 4:47 left. Southwestern up 3-0. We're going to take a quick little break here. We'll come back for the kickoff.
Left in the 1st quarter. Southwestern leads 3-0. As a reminder, fans are not allowed beyond the 4-foot fence until after the game is over. Remember, no food, sunflower seeds, or sugary drinks are allowed on the track or field. We appreciate your cooperation.
All right, we're back here. 4:47 in the 1st quarter. Blue Jays just gave up a field goal, but able to, after a big gain, able to shut down Southwestern and hold them to that field goal. And the kickoff here, taken, and that will let that go through the end zone. The Blue Jays will have it there on the 25. So a big run by the Mound Builders on that when they started the drive on the 50, got all the way to the 20, and thankfully the Blue Jays defense able to hold there and to only give up the 3. But that was a nice run again by Brooks Shannon on that jet sweep. So let's see what the Blue Jays offense have had. A couple offensive plays that have been encouraging, but also a lot of 1 or 2 yard runs up the middle. And so we'll see if Coach Nelson does something a little different here and see if we can get some of the ball and some of our skill guys out on the outside a little bit.
Plummer and Swims are at the bottom of the screen. Blake Burnett and Derek Harper split up top with Josh Johnston in the backfield.
Harper in motion, he gets it. All kinds of Southwestern defenders able to get there, and that's going to be a loss of at least 5. They had that sniffed out.
Backup linebacker Drake Foster, first one to make contact. And the Blue Jays just missed blocks on the perimeter there. And it's a big loss. Now 2nd and 15 for the Blue Jays. Not much Harper could do on that run.
Yeah.
McGee does have 3 carries so far in this game for 20 yards. That's good for us. Just right at 7 yards per carry, but outside of that, nothing else doing for the Blue Jay offense.
And looks like we have a free play here as a couple of the Mound Builders jumped off sides.
Pass complete for a 5-yard gain.
A 5-yard gain, but I'm guessing if that is for sure against Southwestern, they'll take the penalty.
Yeah, Lawyer Davis was the recipient of that screen pass. Good job by Bixo, understanding that there was 2 guys that jumped off sides and he snapped the ball before they were able to get back.
Defense, number 90.
So that'll move the Blue Jays up, and that'll be 2nd and 10 up to the 25-yard line, back where they started.
And we all know that Coach Gardner is a very defensive-minded coach. Some would call him a defensive genius, but he's actually been helping out on the offensive side of the ball this year, especially with the offensive line. So that, those guys have a lot of pressure, especially from the head guy, Coach Gardner, to perform well.
Quick pass out to the right. Swims grabs it just past the 30. He's quickly taken down, and that'll be 3rd and 4 coming up here.
And Ryan Nelson said to kind of counteract the inexperience at offensive line is he wants to get the ball out quick from Trey McGee to his receivers. So I expect a lot of screens, a lot of bubble screens, a lot of traditional screens, and also a lot of hitches because he just wants to make it easy on both Trey McGee and that offensive line to get them some success early, especially in the first quarter still.
Yeah, a lot of space there for Swims. 3rd and 4. McGee rolls to the left a little bit, throws it out. And nice catch, and probably could have done more, but fell down there.
As Derek Harper, you can't say much. McGee's rolling out to his left, so he has to wind up going to his left. And that was a great pass in stride to Derek Harper, who, if he would have kept his feet, as you said, could have reached the end zone, potentially had one guy to beat.
Nice offensive play that gets into Mound Builders territory here at the 44. Blue Jays will have 1st and 10. I'm real excited. I know, as we've mentioned a few times, Derek Harper's an exciting player and a great young man to have on the squad, and it's good to see him get a touch here. Run up the middle by Johnson. A couple of throws maybe opened up some room up there up front, and that's a good 5-yard gain.
And, the coaches are really high on Josh Johnson. They said he can line up out there at receiver, motion
Johnson
in, as he just didn't take the handoff. But last year, he split carries with Dravion Cooper, who we all know how well he did. So he kind of was next to him in carries. This year, it's just him in the backfield. So he's going to have the bulk of the carries on the season. But it's such a luxury when you have a guy that can line up as receiver. The Blue Jays had Joe Donnell a couple of years ago that could catch very effectively into the backfield as a flag is thrown there.
Looks like we had some motion there, and that'll move the Blue Jays back.
Snap infraction, number 50. Offense, 5-yard penalty.
One of the linemen jumping early there, and so that gain by Johnson has now been negated. Here's this pass play again, replay. Harper, and nice catch
It'll be 2nd and 10
by the junior wide receiver.
Again, the empty formation motion in. Seemed like a procedure again on the Blue Jays.
So that'll push the Blue Jays back again. 1:54 left here in this first
Number
quarter.
77, offense, 5-yard penalty, second down.
And the Blue Jays just are not effective enough right now on offense to be giving away free yards like that. You can't shoot yourself in the foot. After a big play to Derek Harper, you can't. A couple of procedure penalties and just sends you back almost to midfield.
Yeah, 2nd and 5 quickly became 2nd and 15 here. McKee drops back. Pressure rolls out to the left. Nice throw quickly over to the left side there. Looks like to Blake Burnett. And he's able to take it for about a 7-8 yard gain. That'll
McGee's
bring up
pass complete to Burnett.
3rd and 8. A little more manageable here for the Blue Jays.
3rd down and 8.
And able to move it up to the Mound Builder 42-yard line. Key looks back to Nelson. Barks some orders here to the offensive line. Empty backfield for McKee. And he runs it right up the middle. And he's going to come up a little bit short here. Gets to the 38. That'll bring up about 4th and 3, 4th and 4.
You have to believe with the wind blowing in the direction that it is that this is 4th down territory for the Blue Jays.
Brings up 4th
I
and 4.
agree.
Unless Coach Gardner wants to play it conservatively. You see him having a conversation with offensive coordinator Ryan Nelson on the sideline.
Looks like the offense will stay on the field. Clock is running here. Just about a minute left in this first quarter.
You know, this drive has really been the Blue Jays in empty with Johnson sometimes motioning into the backfield, and they're in that same formation, trips to the bottom of the screens, twins to the top.
Play clock to 5. Key drops back. Pass over the middle, and nice catch and nice hit, but able to hold on Harper. Wide open up the middle.
McGee's pass complete
Good first
to
down
Harper.
for the Blue Jays, and that'll get him close to
Tabor
red zone
College.
territory, 21-yard line. Nice job, McKee. Look at the replay here.
David White, the defensive back from Alaska for the Mound Builders, delivering the blow, but you got to give it to Derek Harper for hanging on, and also to Trey McGee creating something out of nothing. There's a lot of pressure in his face on 4th down.
Johnson bounces out to the left side, trying to get around, and unable to get back to the line of scrimmage. Good penetration there by the Mound Builder defense. And that'll probably be the end of the first quarter. And as we go to first quarter break, we're actually have a special guest here to the booth. Coming there to the booth here tonight, Greg Zilke, who is the arts director, professor of music, and director of the bands. Boy, you're a busy guy, Greg.
I'm not directing the bands.
Oh, I mean the choir. My bad.
But I do have 2 full-time jobs. You're right.
Yes. Yeah. See, I was trying to memorize all your different roles, and I couldn't even do it. So, how's the semester started for you?
Really terrific.
Yeah.
Yes. Just having a great time preparing wonderful events for all these folks that love to come to Tabor and see concerts and all types of things. We've got really great things planned, and of course, working with the choirs and preparing the students for their concerts as well. And of course, with the musical coming up at homecoming, that's one of the things that everybody really, really looks forward to. So I'm excited to be a part of that, being the music director.
Yeah. So as many know, we have a new facility which allows us to have many different types of groups that Tabor hasn't been able to host before. And I know you put together a schedule here for this year. Can you tell us a little about some of the groups coming in this semester and even this year?
Yeah, sure. So for the first time, we have a concert series that will be featuring, obviously, our beautiful Rickard Auditorium and the Center for the Arts. And so we have our first opportunity for people to come and enjoy a wonderful performance on October 26th. A couple of recitalists, a soprano and a pianist, happen to be friends of mine, bringing them down from Nebraska.
Oh, great.
And they're going to do a wonderful recital. And it's also a part of another event that same day, which is our Voice Festival. which is a day that young people come and they can participate in a competition and in an adjudication type situation to improve their singing. And it's for high school aged singers and for college age, freshman and sophomore college age. And then as next event, of course, is the Messiah.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And so our students will be preparing that along with singers from the community and the alumni. So we're looking forward to that. That'll be a little bit unusual, though, because it's falling before Thanksgiving. Our academic calendars.
Oh, that's right, yes.
Kind of pushed us up a bit there. So, yeah, we'll enjoy doing that. And then we have, obviously, all sorts of events that are coming up for the spring season. Hope that people will enjoy coming to them.
And, of course, people can go to the website at Tabor for all that information about
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, see everything that they would like to know about right there, and get tickets as well for our concerts at tabor.edu/tickets.
Oh, excellent.
Yep.
Well, I know of just being on campus a lot, I enjoy seeing now that many different groups of people that come visit because of the new facilities, even, elementary school, middle school, high school, being able to see some of the music, and so it's a really neat deal. So, all right, well, we look forward to some of that, and I appreciate you coming by, Greg.
I'm glad. Thanks.
All righty.
Really appreciate it.
Yep.
Yeah.
All righty, we're back here.
Johnson with the run, and that's
Johnson
another
here.
at Tabor
Nice
College.
Run up the left side. Replay there, and that gets Blue Jays to the 10-yard line. First and goal. McKee in the shotgun, hands it off to Johnson again. He's hit right at the line and able to get maybe a yard, but not much more. As again, the Mound Builder defense up the middle has been strong most of the evening. Number 9, Grant Newton, the first to make contact there, and that'll bring up second and goal.
Second and goal from the 9.
Blue Jays again trying to respond to the field goal by Southwestern. They have a 3-0 lead here in this early in the second quarter. Again, a beautiful night here for the Blue Jay home opener. Blue Jays come in 1-1 on the season, looking for that first conference victory. McKee barks out the play here. Again, has Johnson with him in the backfield. He rolls to the right a bit. Quick pass out to the right. Caught. Looks like Harper out there.
McKee's pass to Harper's
Here's the replay. Harper able to snag it around the 3rd-yard line, but unfortunately, 3-yard line, unable to keep his feet. So that'll bring up third goal. Nice pass out to Harper, but again, just couldn't keep his feet. And so this will bring a key play here for the Blue Jays, trying to take the lead and jump on that scoreboard. Sims in motion, run up the middle, Johnson, and he's hit almost immediately, and that'll be no gain. So interesting call here again for the Blue Jay coaching staff, and looks like they are sending out the kicking unit to try to tie this game up.
Zach Gray again for the Mound Builders, leading that defensive push-up. He's creating contact. He's getting in the backfield all day for Southwestern. Got to give them credit. Coach Gardner playing it conservatively from the 3-yard line. He's going to send out the kicker for the Blue Jays for a 20-yard attempt.
And kick is up and good, and we have a tie ball game here. 12-22, 3-all. Blue Jays able to counter with another field goal. We're going to take a short break here, and we'll come back for the kickoff. All right, we're back here. Tabor College with the kickoff. Line drive that'll go through the end zone.
The kickoff resulted in a touchback.
Joe Chiavetta was the
With
Blue Jays
12:22 to go
kicker
in
on the
the
field,
second
going
quarter.
also
Score
on that
Tabor College
kickoff
3,
that
Southwestern
resulted in a
3.
touchback.
Southwestern will begin with the ball.
Joe, a
at their
redshirt
own
freshman.
25-yard line.
Good to see him on the field this year, and I know it was hard for him and others that had the redshirt year, but glad he's out helping the team out, and it's good to have Joe on campus as well.
It's going to be interesting to see what offense the Southwestern Mound Builders come out in. Looks like Tanner Spencer, the Wildcat package, is coming out. Got doubles to both sides lined up right in front of each other.
Again, Spencer looking for that gap, and Blue Jays all over that.
And you could see that Elvin Turner immediately saw that Tanner Spencer was in the backfield, and he
Quarterback
crept up
keeper
right
for
to the
a 1-yard
line and
gain.
shot right into
Second
the
and 9.
backfield, and he really met Spencer at the line of scrimmage. Minimal gain on that.
Mound Builders led with this with their first drive. Hadn't seen much of it since, but coming out with this package again.
You see Buka right there, really being very physical up front.
Spencer did throw it one time out of this formation. Let's see if he's going to do that again. Quick pit, no. Fake pass, and decide to keep it. And good penetration by that defensive line and linebackers as they're able to take him down for another loss. So that'll bring up third and about 12 or 13.
You had Edric
2-yard loss on the
Gonzalez go in
quarterback keeper.
motion, and I believe they wanted to throw the screen to the
That
far
brings
side
up
of the field. He just
third
couldn't get a
down.
good
Make
grip
some
on it. As you
noise,
see
Tabor
here, almost
College
slipped out of
fans.
his hands, try to make something out of nothing. And Gabe Erickson, and also, again, that guy, Elvin Turner, on the tackle.
As we mentioned, came into this game 25 tackles in the 2 games this year. Third down and 10. They did mark him up near the original line of scrimmage.
Blue
Mueller
Jays only
back in.
rushed 4.
Pass out to the left, and nice coverage there. No catch, and that'll bring up fourth down.
Pass was broken up beautifully by number 27, James Lang, who again has been playing extremely well on the young season. Is a timing pattern to the far side of the field, and James Lang really timed it perfectly.
Incomplete pass
Got his
brings up
left
fourth down.
arm in there to break up the pass, and fourth down for the Mound Builders.
James, another redshirt freshman on this defense from Alameda, California. And the punting unit comes out for the Mound Builders. Let's see if the Blue Jays can continue with this momentum after this quick stop on defense. Low line driver. Let's see if this is scooped up. Picked up by Harper. He's got a little room up the middle. Able to get it to about the 46-yard line of the near midfield. So the Blue Jays will have great field position here as they tried to add to the score. 3-3 here in this second half, in this first
Harper
half.
5 yards on the return. Tabor will have the ball.
A couple
first and
scores
10
here in the
from its own
conference. We
47
did have a
yard
KCAC game that finished this afternoon. Bethel with a commanding and impressive victory against Avila, 54-34. And let's see if we can capture a couple others here. Kansas Wesleyan on top of Friends, 7-0. Sterling on top of McPherson, 14-6. And it looks like St. Mary's on top of Bethany, 7-0. We'll try to keep you updated on those scores. And also we have our men's and women's soccer playing away from Hillsboro. We'll try to give you some scores as we get those. Harper with a sweep, trying to get around that right side, cuts it up, and man, gets it 3 or 4 yards, and that easily could have been taken down for a loss. A couple of Mound Builders able to get across the line of scrimmage, but Harper able to scoot up here. Let's
Harper
watch
with
the
carry for
replay.
3 yards.
A couple good blocks,
Second
and just Harper able to, he carries a defender there for 2 or 3 yards, get it across the 45-yard line. Or actually near midfield, so it's midfield here. 2nd and 7.
Solid block there by number 31, Jordan Dixon, the freshman out of Baltimore, Maryland.
McKee drops back, rolls out to the left with some pressure, kind of pitches it out.
That was a great open field tackle by number 22, Torgensen again. And he's running stride for stride. It's a linebacker and one of the most shifty players on the Blue Jays offense, Derek Harper,
3rd down and 7.
who's been busy of late.
You're right. Nice play there by the linebacker. And that'll bring up 3rd and long here. 3rd and 7 from midfield. See if the Blue Jays can continue this drive. Able to tie the game with a field goal and get the ball back in quick order. Like to see them extend this a bit.
Got trips to the far side of the field. Justin Swims by himself on the bottom part of your screen.
McKee looks over to Swims and throws just behind him. And that'll bring up 4th down. He had Swims open. Throw just a tad off. And that'll bring up the punting unit.
David White,
Brings
the
up 4th down.
defensive back in coverage there, really was physical with Swims at the point of contact.
Here's the replay. And yeah, nice hit.
Going back to Grant Torgerson, he's just a junior out of Georgia for the Mound Builder, so he should be back next year. It's a very good blend of veterans and underclassmen for this Southwestern Mound Builder team. A lot of promise for Coach Griffin in his 4th season, as Chiavetta may have forgot he was kicking with the wind as he boots that one out of the back of the end zone.
He just rocketed that.
The punt is out of the end zone for a touchback.
Torgensen as their
Southwestern will start
running
the ball
back from
first
last year.
and 10
2
from the 20-yard
sophomores that
line.
made the first team all-conference. So, as you mentioned, that's a nice group to begin to build around. And last year, the Mound Builders finished 6-5, which was an improvement for them. They've been slowly moving up in the conference, and so yeah, this is a team that has some pieces that, as they continue to move forward, is going to be interesting to watch.
And Coach Griffin was, as you mentioned, the running back Wyatt. Coach Griffin said, you know, really the plan offensively this year was to see how many times they could get the ball into his hands. And so it's really a shame that he's out this week with what they told me was a calf injury. He's hopeful for next week. So hopefully he gets back as soon as possible. As Jesse Thomas, the 3rd-string running back in this week on the season, coming into the game with 50 yards on 10 carries.
So they bring back Mueller, the freshman from Arkansas. He hands the ball off. Nice run up the middle. Big 9-year gain there by Thomas.
And he wasn't really touched until Raymond Peralt came up from his safety position.
Run
and
for
so that's
8
a gain
yards,
of 9.
2nd and 2.
The Blue Jay defensive line really needs to get better. Do you see Peralt and also number 24 for the Blue Jays, Malik McCain, the junior from Florida, was the first one to make contact.
2nd and 2. Thomas again on the left side. Another big chunk of yards. Gets it across the 45-yard line near midfield. And that'll be 1st down for Southwestern.
Patient running right there from Thomas. He let his blockers get in front of him and set up all the blocks, knowing he only needed 2 yards. Ended up getting about 8.
Thomas with the
Let's
run.
see if they ride this train
Results
right
in a
now. The
first
Blue
down for
Jays
Southwestern.
defensive line needs to get some pressure into the backfield. Coaches were raving on Josh Loese.
1st and 10 after 2 good runs. We'll sweep off to the right side. And bounces off a couple tacklers. And gets it across midfield, and that'll be near the 1st down marker. Let's see where they mark it. And they will call it 1st down.
Brooke Shannon again on that fly sweep. Again, just 185 pounds in that 6'3" frame, but he was running with vengeance right there through a couple of Blue Jays defenders. Good-looking athlete for the Mound Builders.
Some momentum here by Southwestern. Run up the middle by Thomas. Again, off that left side, able to get some room and big chunk of yards there. 2nd and 5.
Actually, that was Prince Hanks, the
4-yard
junior
guy
running
on the
back
carry.
from Garland,
2nd and 6.
Texas, coming in to spell Jesse Thomas.
They are testing that depth chart at that position with their top 2 being out. 2nd and 6. Mueller keeps it off the left side, makes a couple people miss, and nice run by the quarterback near the 30-yard line.
You can tell that caught the Blue Jays defense by surprise. He had Tanner
Quarterback
Spencer
keeps for a
coming
10-yard
over
gain.
in
1st
motion.
down.
and it was just a fake handoff to Spencer. And Mueller, nobody was expecting him to keep it up the middle as the entire linebacking core fled with Spencer. A good pull and read right there by Mueller.
Impressive drive here by Southwestern. Run up the middle. Blue Jays able to take him down after about 2 yards.
Coach Gardner wants a timeout right now. Frustrated with his defense. It's not necessarily the big plays on this drive. It's that the fact that they're being outmanned on the defensive line, just pounding it up the middle. A couple of outside runs sprinkled in there as well.
Tabor College would like
but the Blue Jays need some push from that D-line.
2020 cheerleaders.
And we're getting towards the latter half of this first half, 6:52.
Junior Maddie Shepard, majoring
The story
in
of this
social
game so
justice.
far definitely has to be the defenses from both
majoring in
teams
exercise science and
holding
psychology.
each other to 3
Sophomore,
points.
Kaylee Rogers, majoring in exercise
Neither
science.
offense was
Sophomore,
prolific coming
Jaden
into this
Gill,
game,
majoring
so
in
it could be
social work.
expected.
Sophomore, Ashley Mann, majoring in early education. Freshman, Allison Foos, majoring in social work. Freshman, Leigh Froze, majoring in education. Freshman, Katie Roth, majoring in business.
We'd like to
And
thank the
Tabor
guys
College
in the tech
Blue
tower
Jay,
over there.
who's a
Chris
junior,
Glanzer puts in a lot of work
majoring in
behind the
biology and
scenes to
business
bring the broadcast to
administration.
you.
The cheerleading team is coached by Cindy
Also David
Ziesmer,
Ediger.
Michelle Ediger,
I believe
and
Josiah
Alyssa
Ray's over there in that building.
All right, teams are going to get back on the field here after the timeout by Coach Gardner and Coach Hill. I'm sure they had some encouraging words for the defensive front there.
I'm sure they were pure and innocent.
2nd and 8 here. Again, this drive started at the 25.
You can expect Brooks Shannon. He's off the line to motion. There he comes.
Running back up the middle, number 34, and he's taken down, again, just up the 2-yard gain, so that'll bring up 3rd and down. We're going to have to go deep on the roster here, Mr. Beal, with these running backs.
34 is actually listed as a tight
3-yard
end.
gain
He's
on
a
the carry.
freshman from El
35.
Dorado. Cody Wittenberg,
Make some noise,
6'2",
Tabor College fans. It's
205-pounder.
3rd down.
So big play here for the Blue Jay defense as they're going to try to hold these Mound Builders maybe to a field goal attempt here, although you mentioned it will be into the wind, so that would be an interesting call here. But let's at least get through 3rd down first here. Again in motion. Shannon has it, and Matt held just in short of that 1st down. This will be an interesting call here by Coach Griffin. This will be 4th and 1, about the 21-yard line. Maybe
3-yard
4th
carry
and 2.
brings
Let's
up
see what the
4th down.
spot is.
Solid collision there. Buka again coming from his middle linebacker position.
All right, Coach Bill, what are you doing here? In the wind, 4th and 2.
Oh, you go for it. You got to go for it.
Yeah.
You've had a lot of success the Mound Builders have on this drive, just running the football.
Yep. I would not be surprised for another run up the middle here. Again, run, and we do have a flag on the play. Let's see what that is.
I think you're going to get procedure on the Mound Builders. I didn't see a lot of
3-yard
movement up
gain
front
on
from the
carry,
Blue Jays.
Flag on the play.
I don't know if the receiver on the top of the screen was set when Tanner Spencer started
Legal formation.
his motion, as you see right there.
Offense. 5 in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
So now it's 4th and 7.
Still, the kicker for Southwestern in warmups was kicking from this distance, and even though he has a really strong leg, was struggling to get it to the field goal. So that's why Coach Griffin is leaving the offense out there
After the penalty, it's
as
4th
of
and
now.
7.
Yeah, this definitely looks like 4-down territory.
And you have to expect a pass here. You got both Brooks Shannon and Tanner Spencer on the top of your screen, both really solid receivers.
Thomas in the backfield with Mueller. Looks like we have a timeout, maybe.
Timeout. Southwestern. First
So
call
we're going to take a
of the half.
timeout as well. 5:09 left here in the 2nd quarter. Defensive battle here in Hillsboro. 3-3 Southwestern Tabor. All right, we're back here. Big play. 4th down here for Southwestern as they called the timeout. Chatted a little bit. Mueller back behind center, or at least in shotgun formation. Has Thomas. And as you mentioned, looks like 2 big play guys up at the top. Rolls out, looks to the left. Oh, nice. Man, that should have been defended better, huh?
Blue Jays went traditional man-to-man right there on the top of the screen. It's on 2 really solid receivers, and Tanner Spencer was able to win the matchup with number 12, Raymond Peralta. Solid move there, faking the inside, and what a play rerouting himself.
Yeah.
As you could see, looking over his left shoulder to turn his body entirely. That is not an easy catch. Sets him up 1st and goal from the 4.
Yeah, nice adjustment. Big play there on 4th down by Southwestern, looking to take a lead here late in the 2nd quarter. 1st and goal from the 4-yard line. And off to Thomas. He goes off that left side again, and he's able to walk into the end zone. Touchdown, Southwestern.
And even though the Mound Builders were able to convert a huge 4th down conversion through the air, that drive was all about the offensive line for the Mound Builders, opening up huge holes for the running backs and receivers to run through. And it's for the Blue Jays offense has to respond after a drive like that. 4:42 left to go in the 2nd quarter.
So 9-3 here, waiting the extra point. Blue Jays with plenty of time if they can move the ball here in this 1st half. Kick is up, and it is good. So after an impressive
4:42 left in the 2nd quarter,
75-yard drive by
10,
Southwestern, the Mound
Tabor
Builders able to take a 10-3 lead with 4:42, and we will take a break and come back here for the kickoff. All right, we're back here in Hillsboro with again, after a really impressive drive by the Mound Builders, able to move the ball across the field, some big runs, and a nice 4th down play as they approach the end zone, but able to punch it in from the 4-yard line, and they're able to take a 10-3 lead, and they will kick it back off to the Blue Jays.
And kicking against the wind, Dalton Rogers pooch kicks it, and that's going to be Plummer fair catching and taking a knee at around the 32-yard line.
As you mentioned before the break, let's see how this Blue Jay offense responds. Had some glimmers of some potential to move the ball, but it has been inconsistent this 1st half.
And as you mentioned, it's going to be interesting to see how the Blue Jays come out. They have the wind at their back, so you would imagine that they could throw it a little bit. But that drive for Southwestern taking a massive amount of time off the clock. Blue Jays really haven't been managing from the wind at their back too much today. Southwestern again in that traditional 2-high set.
Handoff Johnson makes a couple people miss. A nice 5-6 yard gain there by the senior running back.
Coming in on the tackle is going to be Grant Torgerson again.
Able to get to the
Johnson with 4 yards on the
38-yard
carry.
line.
2nd and 6.
Blue Jays have both Swims and Harper at the bottom of the screen.
Johnson again on that right side. And that'll bring up 3rd down.
I guess that answers the questions to how the Blue Jays are going to come out of that. on this drive, throwing or running. They've been pretty conservative so far with Johnson.
Johnson with 2 yards on the carry. 3rd and 4.
So 3rd and 4. Two up top, 3 down low, and McKee is by himself there in the backfield. He will keep it. I thought maybe that might be the case, and looks like he will just be a tad short.
Yeah, it's going to be a long yard short of the first down. If you were a gambling man, you'd bet that Coach Gardner sent the punting team out there.
4th and 1.
Still in Blue Jay territory here, and he does, although delayed, does send out the punting unit. 3 minutes left here and some change.
Blue Jays did not want a 3 and out on this possession, but they should end up switching the field with the wind at Chiavetta's back, as Gonzalez is again back deep at his own 19-yard line.
Of course, the last one not quite this far back, shot through the end zone. Kick is up. And that also goes to the end zone. Just another booming kick. Like I said, that south wind helping him out a bit. But plenty of time here for Southwestern, 2:39, and they had just, their offense coming off a really impressive drive. We'll try to see if they can replicate that here before halftime.
And that was just a solid deke right there by Edric Gonzalez, the punt returner. The ball was punted inside the 5-yard line when it bounced, and he just flew up, acting like he was fair, catching it near the 20-yard line, deking the punt team for the Blue Jays. And also Southwestern was in punt safe right there, so he would have no shot at a return. The Southwestern didn't want to get caught in a fake by the Blue Jay punt team.
Let's see if the Mound Builders run up on that left side again. A lot of big runs off that left tackle.
They have time to put together a drive. 2:39 on the clock, starting at their own 25-yard line.
Thomas again. He's met at the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard.
In the past, Coach Gardner would call a timeout right here, expecting his defense to pull a 3 and out. However, with the inefficiency of the offense so far in the first half, you have to assume that he's content on going into halftime with the score as is and making the adjustments.
2nd and 9. Mueller with someone in motion. Thomas up the middle, all kinds of room. Gets to the first down marker, and they will be a first down on the 35-yard line.
Malik McCain tripped him up, and if Malik wouldn't have tripped him up, he would have got a few more yards. Thomas running hard.
Ball is set, and they spin that clock. 1:50 left.
Carry results in a first down.
35-yard line of the Mound Builders. Plenty of time here on the play clock as they get set. Mueller again to Thomas. And only about a 2-yard gain.
You have to see where Coach Griffin wants to go right now with the clock ticking under 1 minute and 20 seconds to go.
2-yard carry, 2nd and 8.
Looks like 2 timeouts for the Mound Builders.
They've had some success throwing the football, as Tanner Spencer, of course, made the huge grab on 4th down last drive. But they seem pretty content with taking their time and letting the clock tick under 1 minute now. This is at Wildcat formation. However, Mueller is still in the backfield with Spencer at the bottom of the screen coming in motion.
Mueller drops back. Some pressure, is able to go out to the left. Oh, dangerous pass. And incomplete.
That was intended to Brooks Shannon, their standout receivers just a little too high. Mueller did a great job buying time to the left side. Not really known as a runner coming into the game, but he's made a couple of plays on his feet. One for a first down, and that one there buying some time. That's a tough throw. It's thrown across his body. Good defense there by James Lang. Again, all over Shannon. Now it's a 3rd down and 8. Coach Griffin wants a timeout again. In the Mount Builder offense, you lose your top 2 running backs due to injury. And you have Jesse Thomas, a senior out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, come in, and he's just been grinding out yards for this Mound Builder offense. And if they're able to do that in the second half, they just control the clock. And the Blue Jays really want to avoid that going further.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, that wildcat formation, they've also had some success at times. And then when they needed to, they've had some good plays, good pass out earlier on that 4th down play. And so they've done well, especially in this second quarter. To move the ball on the field. But as you mentioned, I think they're definitely conservative, and I think both coaches at this point probably would handshake and go to the half 10-3 with these 38 seconds left.
And if there's one thing about Coach Gardner, he makes incredible halftime adjustments, especially on the defensive side. And Coach Hill being a Gardner disciple, they're cut from the same cloth. So you have to expect this defense is going to come out and correct the problem here in the second half, and they're only down a score, 10-3.
And as we mentioned at the beginning, it's really, we really got to see more out of this offense, the offensive line. 3 points in this in a conference game at home is not enough in a half of football. So 3rd down.
They got Brooke Shannon on the sweep.
Looking for some room, and he's able to get some people to miss, and that will be taken down at the 38-yard line.
My goodness, he is quick and he is fast.
The one thing that maybe if he could have over, he should have stepped out, but they have to spin that last time out.
The Blue Jays seem to be in good position right there, but solid vision and poor tackling by the Blue Jays allow them to get into position, not necessarily right now for a field goal, but maybe for a heave downfield.
So they did not use their timeout, so the clock will wind here now.
Mueller back to pass. I think that was a smart decision. Mueller was cognizant of the linebacker in front of his running back, and he just threw it at his feet. Lived to fight another down, as you see it right here.
And only able to lose a few seconds. Still 25 seconds on the game clock here in the second quarter. 39-yard line on the Blue Jays.
If you're the Mound Builders, you either got to go to Shannon or Spencer. They're your 2 top receivers, and they're both at the top of the screen. There's trips up there.
And they do have that timeout in their pocket, so they can get a throw up the middle with the timeout and get their kicker out still. Oh, nice.
Great pressure in the backfield.
That Josh Lawlessy with the coming off the end. Let's see here. Yeah, nice move.
That is Josh.
The offensive lineman, I don't think touched him.
Timeout of the half.
And if Josh wouldn't have made that
Watch this
tackle,
here.
Yeah, Tanner Spencer's coming in the middle of the field. He's going to be wide open. So that was a great ankle sack by Josh. As you see, Tanner Spencer right there in the middle of your field is going to be wide open. And I think Mueller was going to come back across his body because, as you see, Elvin Turner is going to go with the slot receiver on the dig route, then just right up there on the seam.
Oh, man. Yep.
A great pressure there. Blue Jays needed a stop. That was a huge sack. And again, the Blue Jay defensive front has been getting pushed around by this big athletic Mound Builder offensive line. Both head coaches were raving about the Southwestern offensive line, led by their center, Dustin Rivera, just a junior out of Arizona.
Yeah, this junior class for the Mound Builders really impressive. And just in time, we have today's officials and Dave Lowen on the clock and Nate Duell doing our stats.
Southwestern has the ball, 3rd and 15.
Appreciate all their hard work.
Make some noise, Tabor College fans. It's 3rd down.
3rd down here. 16 seconds. I believe Southwestern's out of timeouts now. Mueller, he will just go down here. And I'm guessing they'll let this tick off.
Quarterback tackled for a 2-yard gain. That'll bring up
And
fourth
I think
down.
that's the case. So we are at halftime here. Southwestern with a really impressive second quarter. Go into the break up 10-3. We're going to take a break here. Charles and I will be able to come back here right before kickoff with some halftime stats, and look forward to having you join us in a bit.
As a reminder, Tabor College fans, the Tabor football team store is located at the southeast corner of the stadium. They have football apparel in all sizes and will remain open until the end of halftime.
Welcome to the first episode of At the Net with Coach Luke Rencher. Coach, how you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
Coach, this is your first season at Tabor. Can you talk about how the transition has been for you coming to Hillsboro?
The transition's been pretty good. I've been once started specially and got in the thick of practice and meets. It's been flowing really well. I came from California and moved here in July, and I enjoyed coming. I'd actually grown up on a farm out in a small rural farming town called Camp Creek, so I was used to a small town, but it took a little bit of getting used to. But once we're in the mix of things here, it's been easy.
And you talked a little bit about your background. You played college tennis at the University of Oregon. Can you talk a little bit about your experience there and your successes?
Sure. So I actually walked onto the team. From a young boy, I had one ambition to play tennis for Oregon. I worked hard on it and made the team as a walk-on. Then my sophomore year, I earned a scholarship and was very successful. I set a record, second best all time for singles, a single season mark in singles. So I played 2 years, had a very successful career.
And so talk about your time after Oregon, playing tennis there. You moved to the Bay Area in California, and you worked at a tennis academy. Can you talk about your experiences there?
Right. Well, I actually worked at two clubs down there. I was a director at one where I had 20 pros underneath me, and it was a pretty big place. And I moved to my second job there was a place called Tompkins Tennis Academy, and it's probably one of the top 3 or 4 academies in the nation, best on the West Coast. And almost all the pros there are all former D1 athletes, or actually the top players in their country. And I was the head pro there, so I was in charge of all the coaches, the curriculum, how the practice will run, that kind of thing. It was a very intense job, and I had a great boss though, a guy named Richard Tompkins, who grew up in the Bolletary Academy where Andre Agassi was there. And so a lot of what we did there was based on what Bolletary was teaching and is still teaching at the Bolletary Academy, now called the IMG Academy.
Oh, wow. So it's San Francisco, and teaching at those academies is a lot different than teaching here at Tabor College in Hillsboro, Kansas. So what drew you, being in California, being a director at these academies, what drew you to come here and coach here at Tabor College?
Well, I always wanted to actually take my game to another level, the collegiate level. In the interview process, I got to know all the coaches. Like I met Sean Reed Carroll, David Ediger, and I was really impressed with their character and how they treated me. And I liked their moral environment here. Everything was up front, and they were trying to do the right thing. That really impressed me. I wanted to be in charge of a whole team. I actually wanted to take what I've been doing at Tompkins and actually take it to another level. So I felt like I could actually improve on what was going on at Tompkins, and this opportunity at Tabor was the way of doing that.
So let's transition to Tabor and the team this fall. They've already played a couple of matches, if I'm not mistaken. So let's go about the structure of practice. So I hear you're kind of, it's really intense. Can you kind of go in a little bit of detail about those practices?
Right, so we're practicing about 2 hours and 10 minutes a day, and from the moment they show up, we don't mess around. We go right into serious hitting. We're feeding balls to the players as fast as we can feed, and then I let them, once we pick up the balls, we go into live hitting where they're hitting back and forth, and the drills are designed to be tougher than a match and to toughen them up, both mentally and physically. Plus, we're doing a lot of strategic things while all this is going on, like talking about where to move on the court, how to position your racket to return a certain shot. I teach them as much as I can in that 2 hour time. It's very dense, and it's not, and nothing's going halfway. We're going as full as we can during that time period.
And you have 2 graduate assistant coaches. Talk about those 2 and how they have helped you implement this in practice.
Right. Well, Naima and Stephen are great. We'll talk about what we're going to do before practice in office or maybe on the court before everybody shows up. And oftentimes they'll be feeding balls and kind of making sure the practice is going the way I want it to go. They've been great. Without them, my job would have been a lot tougher.
And the players now, the women, who has stood out here in fall so far, and we'll go to the men's in a second.
Sure. So we have Tessa Isaac, and she's a senior. Her father is actually the head coach at Sterling College, Lonnie Isaac, and Lonnie actually played here for 1 year and actually coached her also. Very good guy. Tessa has a good tennis background from her father. She's our #1 player right now. We have another young lady named Kayla Roth, and Kayla's great. She is one of my favorites. She is extremely tough. She lifts weights actually 5 days a week outside of tennis practice, and you can tell she's fit and she can go the distance with players. She's very tough-minded, and I'm very, very happy with her. So we got those 2. And then we have, unfortunately, most of the other players on our team are doing either soccer or cross country, and they'll be available starting the winter, where we'll have a full team then.
And so the men so far, there's been a couple of guys playing in the last 2 matches.
Right. So we have. I'll just start with. I'll just give you our whole team here. We have a new kid, Justin Schroeder from McHugh, actually basketball for McPherson College, and he's been great. He joined late on the team. He's a very good athlete, really hardworking, great character. We have Daraj, who is a junior. He's very analytical, great teammate. He's actually one of our captains. Billy Weiser's a captain. Billy's been great. He works really hard. He's competitive. He's got a little bit of an edge to him. Like, he's ready to go toe-to-toe with anybody he plays against. I really like that about him. Then we have Zachary Weiss, who's a freshman, and he's super talented, huge serve, really well built. He's the prototype of a tennis player, kind of like Federer, like lanky, long arms, can run fast. I'm really expecting good things from him. Then number 2, and our 2 top players are Pierce Clausen, who was valedictorian of his high school at Arc City High School. Extremely smart, good character, works hard, can just play forever. I'm expecting him to be kind of like the cornerstone. He has to play the #1 spot, so he's playing great players every time, like guys that are older than him, usually from other countries that are hitting really heavy balls, strong balls, but he's really gotten better even in the 3 weeks of practice we've had. So then the other recruit I'm really liking also, a freshman from Peru, his name's John Paul Fort. And what I like about John Paul Fort is really interesting is that when it comes time for a match, he plays bigger. Like, he'll show good stuff in practice, but in a match, he'll just take it to another level. So he has another gear he goes through in a match, and I really like that about him. Very coachable, and he's got a good sense of humor, and he's fitting in really well with the team coming all the way from Peru.
Which is pretty hard for an international kid to come in here as a freshman.
I give him a lot of courage to what he's doing. That'd be hard to do what he's doing. He's got a lot of courage.
And you talked about the team. I talked to Billy Weiser a few weeks ago and talked about the community in the tennis team. And I believe that you guys hosted the tennis team at your house for dinner.
Yeah, that was fun. we actually have a pool in the backyard, and they were all doing like flips and cannonballs, and everybody went swimming. Everybody went swimming. We had a nice little lunch afterwards or dinner. It was great to have them over there. I met my family.
So we talk about the community with the tennis team. How has the Tabor community opened up their arms to you and your family?
It's been great. People are saying hi to me. I don't know who they are. I get emails and phone calls. I don't know even who they are. They're just reaching out to me. Of course, all the coaching staff here has been great, and the faculty. I get to know some of the faculty also, and I'm not used to this community, the way this community is. I mean, it's different. I've ever experienced for the last 20 years. We're in a big city, and you don't really, you just kind of drive to work and come home and get ready for the next day. So that's been nice, a nice change.
So with the season picking up in the springtime, what are your expectations from now to the season?
I have big expectations. I expect us to have a winning season on both sides, and I don't want to make grand predictions, but I think we work really hard. We'll compete with anybody.
Which is exciting because the tennis team has gradually gotten better in the last few years, so it'll be exciting for the tennis team to exceed those expectations for the spring. So we are at the net with Tabor head tennis coach Luke Rencher.
Ladies and gentlemen, give a hand to the Tabor College Pep Band under the direction of Tabor senior Kelsey Huxman. Around the KCAC at halftime, Sterling leads McPherson 23-19. Bethany and St. Mary are tied 7-7. Kansas Wesleyan leads Friends 28-0. In earlier action today, Bethel beat Avila 54-34.
Welcome back here to Tabor College. We got some highlights for you from the first half. Dalton Rogers, the kicker, opened up the scoring for the Mound Builders on that field goal. And that was with the wind. The wind has been a factor here in the first half. And it has been a beautiful night here in Hillsboro. And again, the Blue Jays counteracted with a short field goal of their own from Joe Chivetta, the redshirt Frosh from Mount Bacano, Pennsylvania. So the Blue Jays tied the score at 3, and ultimately the Mound Builders lead 10-3. And this is just a wonderful catch right here by Tanner Spencer. Runs a corner route and turns his body completely. Just great body control and hand-eye coordination there. And that's on 4th and 7. So being 4th and 7 from their own 36, going down to being first and goal. And Jesse Thomas, the reserve running back, had himself a first half capped off by that short touchdown scamper, and that is the difference in the ball game. That touchdown right there, the Mound Builders lead at 10-3. We got some statistics for you. Kickoff should be for the second half should be in around 6 or 7 minutes. The statistics, and you can really tell that the Mound Builders have controlled on their offensive side of things. They are out rushing the Blue Jays by 137 to 46 yards. Neither team has been able to find the throwing the ball effectively. The Mound Builders only have 33 yards through the air. The Blue Jays have 62. Time of possessions, you would think the Mound Builders would be controlling that, but they're actually only have 14:38. Time of possession, the Blue Jays had the ball for 15 minutes and 22 seconds. And it's going to be really interesting to see the adjustments that Coach Mike Gardner has made at halftime.
Ladies and gentlemen, as a part of tonight's
leading the rushing attack for the Blue Jays is Trey McGee. He had 5 carries for 27 yards, long of 13. That was on the opening possession of the game for the Blue Jays. Josh Johnson, he's been finding a running area very difficult to come by. He has 11 carries for just 25 yards. Derek Harper also has a couple of carries, only 3 yards for him.
And rehabilitation of emergent, acute, or chronic injuries.
Also, we want to do a couple little updates across the KCAC. Kansas Wesleyan in control, 34-0 over Friends. Sterling 23-19 over McPherson. And St. Mary's and Bethany 7-all.
Represents the cumulative efforts of these schools and the Kansas Athletic Trainers Society towards improving safety for football athletes in the state of Kansas.
Going over to Southwestern statistics, they have they've gained 148 yards running the football, and that's pretty spread out. As Jesse Thomas had 8 carries for 41 yards, and then the wide receiver for the Mound Builders, Brooks Shannon, had 4 carries for 66 yards. Jesse Thomas, of course, having the touchdown as well. William Mueller having 4 carries for 12 yards. And Tanner Spencer running the Wildcat at times has 4 carries for 8 yards.
All right. Getting ready to start here. Clock's under 2 minutes. Interesting little powwow down the field. Coach Gardner with the all the officials. I'm not sure what that was about. Maybe we'll have a clue here in a bit. So as we talked at the beginning, Charles, still looking for some growth and improvement in this Blue Jay offense, and haven't seen much of it yet this first half. And hopefully we'll see some of that here after the break.
This game has really been controlled by the Southwestern offensive line. That group is big, that group is tested, and that group is really dominating that side of the football for the Mound Builders. The Blue Jays really need some penetration up front from their defensive line. They've got pretty good play so far to their linebackers, led by Elvin Buka Turner. The senior from Chicago has been playing really well. A couple tackles for loss in the first half.
And as we mentioned, too, coming into the game, Southwestern giving up quite a bit of points and yards in their first couple games, but their defense, or a combination of the Blue Jay offense, not really playing that well yet, as they've had a different outcome in this first half. Again, they came into this game giving up 500 yards per game and I think well over 40 points. So let's see if the Blue Jay offense can maybe cash in on some of that here in the second half. Blue Jays will be kicking off to start this third quarter. Right to left on your screen, we'll have the wind here with them third quarter. As you mentioned, I think that could be a factor, especially if this game stays tight, that Southwestern will have the wind that fourth quarter.
Joe Chiavetta is going to be kicking off for the Blue Jays to start the second half. An interesting statistic for the Mound Builders, only 3 complete passes and none bigger than the aforementioned catch by Tanner Spencer on 4th and 7, setting themselves up for a 1st and goal and eventually the lone touchdown in the game.
That was such a big play in that first half, probably the play of the game so far, that 4th down play. And as you mentioned, Charles, then when the replay, his ability to adjust in the air and gather that pass was really well done. And again, that's really the difference in this game so far. All right, Joe out getting ready to kick here. Booming kick that, as you mentioned earlier, many times with the wind will knock that through, and that will cause Southwestern to start on the 25-yard line here as we get going.
It's going to be very interesting, again, as we talked about the adjustments that the Blue Jays made at halftime. See what they do if they bring an extra guy in the box to kind of slow down that Southwestern rushing attack. They had been playing too high at times with Malik McCain and Raymond Peralt. It'll be interesting to see if they bring Raymond in that bandit linebacker position, along with Gabe Erickson, Elvin Turner, and Gunnar Reese, the McPherson native.
Southwestern will start with Mueller again at the QB position. Thomas joins him. Thomas cuts back and taken down after only about a yard.
Gabe Erickson leading that charge for the Blue Jays. Solid patience there by Thomas. There's just not a hole that opened up, and Gunnar Reese also in on that tackle. So the Blue Jay linebacking core leading this defense all game long, and they didn't play bad in the first half, only 10 points given up. But if the Blue Jays want to win this ball game, their defense is going to need to step up and carry the load. And as you see, they go to a one-high safety, so they bring Malik McCain down to a linebacker position.
And nice hit there. Let's look for a replay here. Second down play. Here's the replay coming from the top.
And that's going to be a Modric Pelican laying his shoulder into Jesse Thomas, getting in there first.
Nice hit. And that'll bring up looks like 3rd and 10. Back to the original line.
And that's the type of play the Blue Jays need to get the momentum on their side. A play like that can springboard a lot of confidence into this defense as they go to a 3-man front on 3rd and 10.
Mueller drops back, rolls out to the right, and unable to gather it there, and that'll bring up 4th down.
And even if Brooke Shannon was able to corral that low pass, he would have been shy of the mark of the gain as he had a party of Blue Jays around him. Pass was around at his ankles. So a good 3 and out here by the Blue Jay defense. That's what they needed coming out of halftime. Coach C.J. Hill, the defensive coordinator for the Blue Jays, dialing up all the right calls there.
And as you mentioned, good catch there, Charles, at the adjustment there, bringing another man into the box and seemed to make a difference in those first 2 downs, bringing up that 3rd and long.
Southwestern does do the rugby-style punt on occasion, and he's going to be kicking into the wind, and there is that rugby punt.
A dribbler. Oh.
A dangerous play, but it went off a Southwestern mound builder.
Let's see where they spot that.
It ricocheted off of a mound builder, so the returner was at liberty to pick the ball up.
Let's see where they spot this. And that is into mound builder territory. They're going to spot it just on the other side of the 50. Great field position here for the Blue Jay offense. And let's see if the offense made the same adjustment as the defense. As you saw that shot of the moon here hovering over. Beautiful evening here in Hillsboro. Great start to the home schedule for the Tabor Blue Jay football team.
And I think punt returning is one of the most underrated facets of the game. It's all about field position. A lot of guys just let the ball roll as you see that ball batted at the line of scrimmage.
Of course, this is coming from a punt returner.
Hey, man, it's a chess game. Sometimes a lot of people don't put a lot of practice into it, and they don't fair catch it or catch the ball on the bounce, and you lose a lot of field position that way.
Yeah.
So you have to have a safe but aggressive returner. I know that's kind of an oxymoron, but
no, I think you're right, and you're right. In the course of 4 quarters of football, that's a lot of yardage. So batted down at the line of scrimmage brings up 2nd and 10. A run up the middle is taken down quickly, maybe a yard, and that'll bring up 3rd and long.
And that's unfortunate because on the first down play, Trey McGee had Justin Swims wide open, but it was a great play by the defensive lineman, number 50, Zach Gray, to bat the ball down. And again, Zach Gray coming in on that tackle, as you see him right there, that was a good job by Josh Johnson to secure that football. It's a botched handoff.
Yeah, he almost lost that. So 3rd and 9. Key by himself. He has run it on this set before. Let's see what he does here. He drops back, rolls out to the right. It does go across the line, has some room, and nice tackle open field. Number 20 by the Mound Builders. Great play, and that'll bring up 4th down.
That tackle was made by number 20, Trevon Crockett, the junior defensive back. Just really flew up as soon as he saw Trey McGee flushed to his right from the pocket. Really came up and made an aggressive play, eliminating any doubt that he'd get the 1st down. Forces the Blue Jays to punt here. Yeah, this is an area Coach Gardner has gambled before on a fake punt once or twice. This area of the field, but
There is some movement.
And movement by the Blue Jays offensive line there, the front line of the punt team.
Well, let's see if Joe can maybe angle this punt a bit. He has from this area just rocketed through the end zone a few times.
Yeah, I think he's lifting too many weights over there and needs to calm down on the squats. Hit it out of the back of the end zone on one of them.
And sometimes the wind dies down here as it gets dark, but it is still cooking out there a bit. So looking at the flagpole. So he does have still a breeze behind him. And he does angle that one a bit. See how that roll goes. And that will be inside the 20. Let's see where they mark it.
Pretty favorable spot.
Yeah, 14-yard line. That's better than shooting it through the end zone, and that's where Southwestern will take over. A couple 3-and-outs here to start this 3rd quarter.
14-yard line.
It's going to be interesting to see how Coach Griffin now responds with his offense on the field, because Blue Jays have shown their hand. They're bringing Malik McCain down, as you see the punt by Chiavetta. They're bringing a safety down into the box, so it's going to be interesting to see if Coach Griffin counters with a few passes on the perimeter. See Trevon Crockett there, the mound builder, almost blocking that punt, getting very close to it.
Hand off to Thomas, and he again is met. Good. I think you're right. We're seeing some adjustments here by that defense. Not a lot of room like there was in that 2nd quarter.
And who else but Elvin Turner flying up there. You're going to see him, number 9, shedding a block and just halting the progress of Thomas right there. That's just a great defensive play. Getting off the block by the offensive lineman, draped all over him. He's able to make the stop there, bringing up 2nd and 8.
Another handoff by Thomas. He gets some room this time, close to the first down marker. Looks like he'll be a tad short. It'll bring up 3rd and short. Nice move there by Thomas, the senior.
Been very impressed by Thomas so far in this ball game. The patience that he has to wait for the hole to open up, and right there almost got the first down, got tripped up prematurely. He's going to bring up a 3rd down and 2.
Let's see if this Blue Jay defense can get another stop here.
Down.
Beg your pardon, it's going to be a 3rd down and 1. And they have a tight end and H-back, so you have to think that they're going to be running the ball here.
And no, quick. Going to try to run it, and he will come up short. Maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage, but that'll bring up 4th down. Interesting call. As you mentioned, I really expected him to run that ball.
On a 3rd and 1, dropped back. And Amadric Pelican making 2 huge plays in consecutive drives. And Coach Griffin right now leaving the offense out there. And here comes the punt team.
Thought better of it.
I remember 3 years ago against McPherson, they came in here and the wind was so bad in that direction that they were punting that they went for it every time on 4th down because every time they punted, they might get a net gain of 4 or 5 yards.
Yeah, there is times, as you know, that this field, the way it's positioned, can be a bit of a wind tunnel.
And I think they're going to call.
Number 45, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
So it's like movement on the offense, and that'll push them back another 5.
And you see Pelican right there from his defensive end position. They're just making a huge play. Consecutive 3 and outs. This Blue Jay defense has been on the field for a long time in the first half. And just getting off the field was huge. Now the Blue Jay offense really needs to step up and give them a long breather.
Ball hangs up, comes. Oh!
And that's going to be a big flag. And that is the risk that you take being a punt returner. Derek Harper right there, and he got absolutely blasted. They're going to say the Mound Builders recovered, but it's going to be catch interference right there well before he caught the ball.
Not even close.
And if this was Big 12, that would be called for targeting. However.
Yeah, because not only did he hit him early, but he hit him high.
Yeah, not the nicest of shots that you're going to see in this ball game. Hopefully Derek Harper's okay, because that would be a key loss for this Blue Jay offense, as he is one of their best playmakers. Derek Harper was their leading receiver by far, 4 catches of 48 yards. Over 2/3 of their receiving yards belong to him, and I wonder what the officials are talking about. It's a long meeting.
It could be more than just the hit.
I wonder if they were talking about targeting.
Kick catch interference. Kicking team. 15-yard penalty. 1st down. Tabor.
And at the NAIA level, you do not see targeting called all too much, even though that is a rule in the rule book, in the NAIA rule book. It's not. I've only seen it called once in my time here at Tabor.
Yeah, I think I'm guessing as you go up a division where you have the replays, I think they'd rather have another look at it before making that drastic of a call, which I understand and get. Makes sense to me. So
Derek Harper back there on the field, in great field position now for the Blue Jays.
So Blue Jays with the penalty will start at the 35-yard line of the Mound Builders. See if they can punch this in to tie this game. Quick pass out to the left to Sims, and he can't gather it. Throw a bit high.
And even if Justin Swims were able to corral that ball, number 6, Israel Harper, again, that junior linebacker, shedded a block from an offensive tackle and was ready. And he was right there in Swims' face to greet him. So it might have saved them a yard or two that he dropped that ball. Wasn't looking too promising.
Either way, Sims didn't feel too great probably about being extended up high and getting hit as he did. 2nd down, Josh Johnson up the middle, and he's met after about a yard, and that'll bring up 3rd and long.
David White from his cornerback position. He was lined up on Swims, and as soon as Swims motioned across the formation, that triggered White to kind of shoot in from the outside, and he was first to make contact. with Johnson.
Short
Now
gain on the
third
play,
and
brings up
long
3rd
here.
and 9.
And right now for the Blue Jays, you do not need to get a first down. You just get a chunk of yardage and set up 4th and reasonable.
Yep, we're definitely in that 4-down territory here. Roll out to the right.
Good blocking.
And looks like that is gathered. First down, Blue Jays.
Great job on the sideline. Blake Burnett working that. Jerry McGee was able to get outside, but again, you gotta give a shout out to Josh
McGee's
Johnson
pass is
setting the
complete.
edge, making
That's
a key
another
block
Tabor
to free right there on number 94,
Oh,
Josh
yeah.
Johnson, giving up 100 or so pounds, and then Burnett on the sideline. Can't see if he was in or out, but the official said he was in.
So first down just inside the 20. Blue Jays with the fresh set. Quick pass out. Harper for touchdown. Nice play by the Blue Jays.
That was a great catch by
McGee's
Derek
pass is
Harper, but
complete
what
for
about the
Tabor
pass? You had the
touchdown
strong
to
safety
number
come
2,
down into the box,
Harper.
and Trey McGee threw it right over the top. The cornerback playing deep was not able to come over. You see number 8 right there. The safety come down and try to get a jam on him, and right there behind him,
Nice.
White was not able to come over from his quarters position.
So we are an extra point away from a tie ball game here in the 3rd quarter. An 8:21 left in the 3rd. Kick is up. And it is good, and we have a tie ball game here, 10-all.
You give the Blue Jays defense a lot of credit, forcing 2 consecutive 3-and-outs.
After
And what
the
about the
Tabor college
halftime
touchdown, the
adjustments
score
by
is Southwestern
offensive
10,
coordinator
Tabor College Blue
Ryan
Jays
Nelson
10.
opening up the playbook, and it leads to a great pass by Trey McGee to Derek Harper to cap off that drive. Blue Jays student section doing their best LeBron impersonation with the baby powder.
The blue zone, they're calling it this year. Trying to get some, and as you looked in if you're able to see there on camera, people instructed to wear their blues tonight, and the crowd is good here for this opener.
And again, the offensive line at times let pressure come in, but on that last throw from McGee to Harper, it was very well protected. Gave Trey McGee enough time to make a great throw.
So the Blue Jays will kick it back off to the Mound Builders here.
As you see the wind playing effect in there with the ball.
I'm sure the Blue Jay defense is anxious to get out there and see if they can do another 3-and-out.
Lawson Luders is going to be holding the ball for Joe Chiavetta. And back deep is Brooks Shannon's. You want to kick it away from him. And it's going to be out of the end zone.
Kick results in a touchback.
Tabor
Southwestern
College
starts first and 10
women's
at their
volleyball
25
team
yard
had
line.
a victory today against William Baptist at the College of Ozarks tournament,
Football fans, you
3-0.
still have time to get to the concession stand and have Dale's sausage, cheeseburgers,
And
hot
also were
dogs,
able to
popcorn,
defeat
and much, much
Hannibal
more.
LaGrange
If you're running
4-1.
low on
So it's a
cash,
good
don't
day for
worry.
the
They take
ladies
credit cards.
out on the volleyball court. The men's and women's soccer teams are both on the road tonight. Still don't have a score update for them, but we'll try to get that to you if we can get that. Busy day in Tabor athletics. Cross country also running, and the tennis team was down actually in Southwestern for a fall tournament. Run up the middle, met after about a yard.
And that was Gabe Erickson, the California native, coming in by himself and slamming
Okay,
into
for 2
Jesse
yards,
Thomas.
brings up
Jesse
second and
Thomas now limping off to the sideline. You see Gabe Erickson from his linebacker weak side on that play, linebacker position. Oh, great read. Look at that. Form tackle.
Looks like, is that Tanner Spencer out again? No, Matt Mueller.
Number 27, Prince Hanks, is in the backfield. But yes, Spencer is up, slot receiver up top. This is, oh, what a great sack.
Oh,
What a shot there.
we'll have to see the replay again on that. Nice job.
And again, delivering a huge blow in the first possession. Amadric Pelican comes in unblocked, reads it greatly Oh, helmet right into the chest, and an unfortunate bounce for the Blue Jays. And Johnny on the spot for the Mound Builders is number 49,
Third down.
Darrell Pinnock. He's their fullback H-back, and it sets up a 3rd down and 10. Pinnock was able to get a couple of yards off the fumble recovery, but a Modric Pelican playing out of his mind to start the second half for the Blue Jays.
Redshirt sophomore from Louisville, Texas. Pass out. Nice gather there across the middle of the field. What is that, Shannon or?
That's Tanner Spencer.
Tanner Spencer, yes.
Did a great job. Blue Jays playing their quarters defense, and just a big hole in the middle of the field on the seam. As you see right here, Tanner Spencer running that seam route, but he stops. You see, he finds space right there at the 40-yard line. Does a great job elevating and making the catch with the 1st down.
Found that little spot there in the defense, and that'll be a fresh set of downs for Southwestern as they move it up to their 43-yard line.
Talking about a counter punch from the true freshman quarterback Mueller, getting hit and then delivering that throw on 3rd and long.
Run up the middle, looks like about a 3-yard gain.
And that's Prince Hanks again on the carry. And he's going to come out of the ball game. They're going to go deper into their running back backfield with David Roper, the sophomore, another tight end listed from Texas. He's going to line up next to Mueller in the backfield. Pinnock, the H-back in front of him.
So 2nd and 7 as the Mound Builders approach midfield. Counter run, about gets to the line of scrimmage, maybe another yard. Good job by the Blue Jay defense, and we'll have 3rd down coming up.
If I'm the Mound Builders, you really got to get the ball into the hands of Brooks Shannon.
Make some noise,
the dynamic playmaker, had a lot of carries in the first half. Actually was their leading rusher, only on 4 carries, had 66 yards.
Yeah, it might be time for one of those sweeps, huh? Those jet sweeps they've been running with him. 3rd and 6. Blue Jays looking to turn them over again. Throw up the middle, nice.
And that's going to be
Gonzalez with the catch.
Yep, good call on that. And I want to point out on that replay, check out that block right there, picking up the blitz from number 34, Cody Wittenberg, the freshman from El Dorado. Does a great job picking up the Blue Jay blitzer, and also a great catch by Gonzalez.
So cross midfield, Southwestern 1st down and 10 at the Blue Jay 44.
Talk about 2 crucial throws from Mueller on 3rd down.
Mueller keeps it, but he is taken down before he can get back to the line of scrimmage.
Quarterback carry results in a loss of 2 yards. Brings up,
and I believe that's going to be
12.
number 39 for the Blue Jays, Robert Edmondson.
It's always difficult when they're wearing their blues in this when it gets dark to catch those numbers, especially when it's across the field. So that'll be 2nd and 12.
You know, Gonzalez was having a quiet night until that big catch on 3rd down, and here he is again on a screen pass.
Got a couple blockers, but bounces off a tackle, able to get forward for 3 or 4 yards. That would have been a loss, but good effort on his part, but that still brings up 3rd down.
Solid run there after the catch, because the pass was thrown behind him. He had to gather his feet and catch it, and Buka Turner was coming full speed.
So a big play here. As you mentioned, Mueller with a couple big passes on this drive on 3rd down. Let's see if he can do that a 3rd time here.
Blue Jay defense needs to shore up the middle of the field. That is where Mueller has done his damage here on this drive. And watch Tanner Spencer, the slot receiver, top of your screen.
Mueller keeps it, runs up the middle. Makes a man miss. Nice move by the freshman. Crossed the 1st down marker near the 30-yard line, and another big 3rd down pickup by the Mound Builders.
And you have to think there that Coach Griffin wanted to set up 4th and manageable, but however, what a great move by the true freshman
right there.
linebacker. Looking like Fran Tarkington.
First down.
Boy, the Blue Jays had a chance right there and could not wrap up.
3 huge 3rd down and long conversions from the Mound Builders.
Same play up the middle. Mueller crossed the 30 near the 25-yard line. As the clock gets down to 3 minutes left in this 3rd quarter.
And look who it is for the Blue Jays on that tackle. The heart of Hillsboro, Brooks Gardner. True freshman from Hillsboro High School.
Quarterback carries for
And of
5
course,
yards. 2nd and 5.
The son of Coach Gardner. Brother Ben played here a few years ago, was a stud linebacker. All conference a couple of years.
2nd and 5. Oh, man. Mueller faked a run, stood back up for a pass, batted up in the air. A lot of people could have jumped in there, but let's see who got that.
Elvin Turner was the one to get his right hand, tipped it right up. Could have been an interception, but what a great play. They had the tight end streaking on the pop pass there, but it is 3rd down again, and the Mound Builders had made their living here on 3rd down on this drive.
3 for 3 on 3rd down so far. Blue Jay defense needs to step up here.
Brooks Shannon at the top of the screen. Tanner Spencer and Gonzalez down here in the slot at the bottom.
On there, Turner with the wrap up. That's not an easy guy to bring down. Good job.
And I wonder what is going on here with the blocking scheme. You see Gonzalez is running a route there, and that leaves Elvin Turner. A Modric Pelican and Elvin Turner, 2 standouts so far here in the second half of the Blue Jay defense, and they've really needed that.
So that'll bring up 4th down. They're in that zone here with the wind where this is pretty much the only option.
You wonder if there's going to be a pooch kick here. No.
Shannon unable to gather it, and that'll bring a turnover and downs.
And you can see the explosiveness of Brooks Shannon right there, man-on-man coverage at the top of your screen. I believe that is James Lang, and ball was decently placed. He had an opportunity to make a huge catch here on 4th down. And again, Mueller's throwing into the wind. That is a great throw, throwing into the wind. Would have set them up with 1st and goal to go. But James Lang with a nice recovery, and the Blue Jays take over on down.
Well, that was definitely at times an impressive drive by the Mound Builders, but Blue Jays able to dodge a bullet, and they will take over. Game still tied here as we're approaching the end of the 3rd quarter. Let's see if the Blue Jays can follow suit here and move the ball across the field. McKee deep across the middle, and that is overthrown. Looks like that was for Harper, and that'll bring up 2nd down.
Pass is incomplete. Brings
That
up
was
2nd
good
and 10.
coverage right there by the Mound Builders. I believe the man in coverage was number 8. I beg your pardon. It was number 20, Trevon Crockett, delivering the hit. He had Justin Swims open at the bottom of the screen on a hitch. Decided to go for the long ball to Derek Harper.
2nd and 10 here for the Blue Jays. Again, McGee by himself here in the backfield. Steps up in the pocket, has some room here. Across the 1st down marker near midfield. Nice pickup by the quarterback, about 13, 14 yards by Trey McGee.
And the best rushing option for the Blue Jays is Trey McGee out of the drop back set. Blue Jays haven't been getting much space, traditionally running the ball, but whenever McGee drops back, Coach Ryan Nelson says that he is sneaky fast with the ball, and he gets the 1st down right there.
McKee, a lot of valuable experience last year as a freshman. Played the majority of the snaps. He keeps it right up the middle again. Cross midfield, and a good 6-7 yard pickup. And into Mound Builder territory.
Both quarterbacks for each team showing off their running ability. As we saw Mueller last drive showing off a great spin move, and now back-to-back rushing attacks by Trey McGee.
5-yard carry brings up 2nd and 5.
2nd and 5 here from the Blue Jays, just barely into Mound Builder territory. And he was hit after just about getting to the line of scrimmage, it looks like. And that'll bring up 3rd down.
Good push by the Mound Builder defensive front.
So maybe a yard more, but 3rd and 4. Blue Jays trying to keep the momentum here as we get towards the end of the 3rd quarter. Again, 10-all here in this KCAC matchup.
Osmond Betts, the freshman defensive lineman, was in on the tackle to tackle McGee on the last rush. I think he's going to be a little bit short.
Seems like we've seen that play a little bit here recently.
A little bit. 3 straight runs. Beg your pardon. 4 straight runs by Trey
with the
McGee.
3-yard gain. Brings up 4th and 1.
Decision here time for the Blue Jays.
Gardner has the wind.
4th and 1. Looks like he took the timeout to keep that wind.
Yeah, and that is the absolute reason why he called the timeout. 22 seconds left to go here in the 3rd quarter, and he's just playing. He just wants to win at his back. He just either wants to punt the ball or keep the win for a couple of passes. We'll see. Can't say enough about the adjustments made on both sides of the ball for the Blue Jays. Coach C.J. Hill, the defensive coordinator, and Ryan Nelson, the offensive coordinator, both making great adjustments at halftime.
Yeah, this definitely feels like a big play, not only because it's just 4th and 1, but we watched the Southwestern team move the ball well across the field, but come up short, unable to get any points on the board, and the Blue Jays took over and have been moved it some, but sure like to be able to answer that with some points here, especially as we get close to here to the beginning of the 4th quarter.
Trey McGee now has over 50 rushing yards at 54, averaging 5.4 yards a carry. Solid for a quarterback. Derek Harper now has 5 catches for 68 yards, including that 25-yard touchdown.
Blue Jays will be going for it here. Is that Barrett Smith up the middle?
Giving it to O'Berry up the middle, and he's going to have enough for the first down.
Pride of Lincolnville, Kansas, Center High School.
Oh, look at him fired up.
The 1-yard dive.
Showing off a little bit of athleticism there from the fullback.
Yeah, contact on him was a yard deep, and so he was able to overcome that and get it across that first down marker. Blue Jays with a fresh set of downs here on the 43-yard line of the Mound Builders.
Good play call there by Ryan Nelson.
Quick pass. Oh, man. Not looking for the ball right there.
It was a good pass, though.
Yes, hit him in the back almost.
Intended receiver was Lawyer Davis.
Brings up 2nd and 10.
McGee has a great feel for his receivers in the middle of the field, crossing, getting past the linebackers and right in front of the safety in that soft spot. If he can get on the same page as his receivers as the season goes on, that could be a really good link up.
So with 1 second on the clock, this will be the final play of the 3rd quarter, 2nd and 10. The key rolls out here to the left, and he will keep it and able to move the ball up a little bit. Dropped it. Let's see what happens here. Looks like the Blue Jays were able to recover.
There's a flag thrown on the play. I wonder if there was a late hit. McGee lost his helmet.
Let's see what the call is here. Before we go to break.
You see the officials there. Coach Gardner pleading his case to whatever it may be. Here's the call from the official.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 10, Tabor, participating without a helmet. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run.
Wow. So he couldn't jump on his fumble because his helmet popped off. I think that's what the call is here.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. So with that, we will go to break here at the end of the 3rd, 10-all. You come back here for an exciting 4th quarter.
At the end of the 3rd quarter, the score is Southwestern 10, your Tabor College Blue Jays 10.
That is the end of the 3rd quarter.
All right, we're back here at the beginning of the fourth quarter. Again, we had that penalty as we finished out the third quarter. A lot of discussion on the break about, I think, whether or not McKee could be participating in this next play. Looks like is he out there?
No, it's going to be Rodney Axon. So McGee participated with that. His helmet came off, so by rule, he has to sit out a play. It's going to be second and a long ways to go. Rodney, nicknamed the Cleveland Cannon, has an absolute rocket for an arm.
Redshirt freshman from Cleveland, Ohio. Let's see what Coach Nelson wants to do here.
You see the replay right here. McGee's helmet comes off, and the fact that he went after the fumble right there cannot participate. So once your helmet comes off, you cannot actively participate in the play. So that's actually a good call by the officials.
That pushes the Blue Jays back into their own territory. 2nd and 24.
And Axon back to pass is a screen, and it's a little bit low.
Little jumpy there for the freshman. And
I think they're gonna leave him in. No, Trey McGee's getting the play from Coach Ryan Nelson on there on the sideline.
So 3rd down and 24. As we're just beginning this fourth quarter, 10-all, Southwestern and Tabor here. Home opener for the Blue Jays, trying to get that first conference win of the year.
Jim, what do you call here? QB draw?
Yeah, I think the best. I mean, obviously first down's the best case, but a punt and bring our defense back out, it's not a bad deal if we can keep the field position. Throw up the middle, and that was almost picked off.
Pass is incomplete. Brings up 4th
So
down.
that'll bring up 4th down and the punting unit. And as I look over at the flagpole, the breeze is still kicking a bit, so we will be kicking into the wind this fourth quarter.
And that is a huge point to make because as the game is tied, Southwestern has the advantage when it comes to field goal. And that pass on the previous play was broken up by Marcus Richard, who's made several good plays today, the junior from Texas, playing well in the defensive backfield for the Mound Builders. That is a really good punt into the wind, forcing itself inside the 20.
Yes, nice bounce, and that'll go all the way to the 16.
Blake Burnett is the first one there to pick it up, and got to give a lot of props to Joe Chiavetta, who handles all the kicking duties.
So looking at that, Charles, from your heyday, is that something he should have stepped in and taken in the air?
It's all about the if you realize the ball is going low, you have to get into the general area. If it takes that Sunday hop, then you just got to go attack it and just be confident with your hands. That one took a big hop, but then followed by a bunch of smaller ones that you can't really judge all too well, and that's when you get into the danger zone. So I think Gonzalez did a really good job there, just avoiding it altogether.
All right, Mound Builders take over. 1st and 10, 16-yard line, run up the middle. Be able to get some good penetration there, 6 yards it looks like.
Again, Jesse Thomas is a very patient runner. He's been doing that all game. That's a solid gain on 1st down.
5-yard carry brings up.
So it'll be a 5-yard, 2nd and 5.
The Blue Jay making that tackle was number 39, Robert Edmondson. Listed as a DB, lines up as a D end.
Hand off to Shannon. He gets around the edge, and as you've mentioned before, really dynamic runner. And still on his feet.
Goodness.
Missed tackles all over the place. And that's a touchdown. No flags on the play. Wow, big 79-yard run by the Mound Builders, and could have been stopped after about 5 or 6 yards.
Carry results in a touchdown.
Tough run.
Brooks Shannon does a great job working that sideline. He gets that handoff, and then he cuts up field and makes the defense commit. Then he goes back out to the sideline. As you see it here, Shannon forces up field. Everybody commits, and he bounces it to the outside. Great blocking, but even greater determination by the senior receiver. My goodness, going all Marshawn Lynch on the Blue Jay defense.
Extra point. Up and good, and Southwestern retakes the lead 17-10, 13:54. We're going to take a short break, and we'll come back for the Blue Jay offense.
And again, we'd like to thank everybody that is making this broadcast able, leading with David Ediger, the sports information director here at Tabor College, and the guys in the tech tower led by Chris Glanzer does everything on the IT end. Does a great job bringing you all the camera angles, all the replays, and his team in the tech tower.
Kick taken at the 5. Is that Harper? All across the 30.
Harper did have a kickoff return for a touchdown against Sagu in the opening game of the season.
We also want to mention a couple of our sponsors that make this possible. Paul Brooks State Farm Insurance over in on Tyler Road in Wichita. Appreciate his support of this broadcast, and also Fleming's Mini Storage here in Hillsboro. Thanks again for allowing us to do this. It's a pleasure for us to present this game and share with you a little bit about Tabor football. So Blue Jays take over, looking to respond to the touchdown by Southwestern. 13:46 left in this game.
And Southwestern 3 deep in the defensive backfield. Wonder if the Blue Jays would take advantage with the short game, and Trey McGee is going to get met at the line by the Southwestern.
Maybe lost a little bit here.
And again, that's going to be Osman Betts, the freshman, number 90 for Southwestern.
No gain on the carry. 2nd and 10.
So they did mark that back at the line of scrimmage, 2nd and 20.
Interesting strategy by the Mound Builders, bringing Trevon Crockett back as deep as the safeties, being very wary of the passing here by the Blue Jays.
Unable to connect with Johnson out of the backfield, and that'll bring down 3rd and 10.
McGee's pass intended for Johnson.
All the momentum after that huge run by Brooks Shannon has shifted over to this Southwestern team. As you can see, their defense is playing with a lot of confidence following that huge run.
Blue Jays looking to get a first down here. Keep this drive alive. 13 minutes left in this game. McKee throwing through the middle, caught by Swims. Let's see where they mark it. It will be close.
If any indication is from the official at the top of the screen, he's going to give it to him. I wasn't entirely sure, to be honest with you, that he got it.
Needed to get to the 41.
Yeah, I think that's
the ball got across there. Do have a score update. Men's soccer is at Central College. No score in the first half.
Great catch there by Justin Swims, taking in the contact. It was a huge 3rd down conversion for the Blue Jays.
McKee keeps it, makes someone miss, makes another miss up the right sideline, knocked out of bounds as he gets across the 50 into Mound Ridge territory, almost to the 40-yard line.
And again, blocking downfield, Justin Swims, who had just made the catch on 3rd down, makes a huge block to help spring McGee, showing off his athleticism.
And we also got a score update on women's soccer. They tied 1-1 at Bellevue Went to double overtime. Fresh set of downs here for the Blue Jays. McKee looks, again, breaks free, has some room, throws it, and unable to connect. Had some room on the left side if you decide to keep it, but either way, that is now 2nd down and 10.
Great coverage downfield by the Mound Builders on a scramble drill by McGee. You had both Derek Harper and Blake Burnett going towards the sideline.
See, I thought he had some room here, but 2nd down and 10. Josh Johnson joins McKee in the backfield. 3 up high, 1 down low. McKee rolls. Pass up the middle.
Good catch by Blake Burnett.
Nice.
Trey McGee finding him in the middle of the field. Brings up 3rd and manageable.
And we are in that part of the field here where we are 4 down territory. Clock is ticking. 11:45 left in this ball game. Blue Jays looking to tie the score here with this drive. 3rd and 3. Key rolls to the right. It's got some room. Going to tuck it, and let's see where they mark it.
It's going to be close to the 1st down.
Got a lot of Blue Jay people on the bench willing to call that 1st down. Let's see where they actually mark it.
No, they're not gonna move the change right now.
That will be 4th down.
Ryan Nelson trying his best to persuade the White Hat that it was a 1st down.
McGee
I think
carries
Coach
for 2 yards, brings up
Gardner is
4th down.
also lobbying for them to measure it to see just how short they are, but there's no doubt in anybody's mind that they're going for it right now.
Yeah, I think he would have enjoyed that free timeout with the measurement, but no, not doing. And so the Blue Jays will line it up here, 4th and short, about the 32-yard line of the Mound Builders. McKee looking to pass it, and broken up by the Mound Builders, and they will take over. Interesting play call there. Ton of people in the box may have been an influence there, but the pass is unable to be connected, and the Mound Builders will take over here, up a touchdown with 11 minutes left.
McKee's pass is incomplete.
Let's take another
Result
peek
of a
here.
turnover and downs. Southwestern will take over 1st and 10 at the 31-yard line.
Thrown behind him. Looks like a good throw. May have had that as a 1st down.
Trevon Crockett is the DB in coverage right there, nearly intercepting it. But again, 4th and very short, and an incomplete pass. Unfortunate series of events right there for the Blue Jays. Defense was playing great in the 3rd quarter, gave up a long touchdown the previous drive. Need to show some neck right here.
Southwestern with the ball and the touchdown lead. Hands off to Thomas. Patient runner again.
Man.
And that patience is rewarded with an 8-yard gain.
If you watch football on Sunday, Le'Veon Bell runs that way, just kind of slowly
8-yard
going
carry
up to the
brings up
line,
2nd
looking
down.
for the hole, and Thomas exploded through it. That's a gain of 8 on 1st down.
Watch this again here. Takes the handoff and takes a couple baby steps here, and then sees his gap and shoots right through it. Good for the senior here, someone who's a little bit farther on the depth chart, able to step up tonight and had some good runs, filling in for some people above him. Again, another handoff up the left side. Another big gainer. Gets close to the midfield, and that'll be a 1st down.
So another gain of 7 right there for Thomas, just racking up the yards. This game's getting a
Carry
blow right
results
now
in the 1st down.
from Prince Hanks coming in, number 27. It's going to give him a blow. Hopefully the Blue Jays can take advantage of Thomas being out of the game. He's had a really solid game. Clock is ticking.
1st down and 10 as the Mound Builders get close to midfield here. Mueller takes it. Cross midfield, about a 3-4 yard gain. Nice run by the freshman.
That offensive line is doing a great job for Southwestern. You could tell right there, there's a body on every person in the box.
Southwestern looking not only to add the score, but also drain some of this clock here. They are taking their time, and
3-yard carry brings up
2nd and 6 as they are now into Blue Jay territory. As the clock approaches 9 minutes left in this game.
Mueller taking it again.
Wrapped up, and that'll bring up 3rd down. It's like 3rd and 5, maybe 3rd and 6. This will be a big play here for the Blue Jay defense, really needing to get the ball over. Mueller a little slow getting up.
Josh Lause and Gabe Erickson in on the tackle.
1-yard carry brings up 3rd down.
Mueller looking for, looks like he's going to have to sub out here for this 3rd down play.
It's 3rd
You know, you have to
down.
expect Tanner Spencer to take over out of the Wildcat. No. They brought in their backup. Whitfield. Uzziel Whitfield, the redshirt freshman out of Cedar Hill, Texas.
So he steps on the field for the first time for this big 3rd down play.
Started their first game of the season against Midland.
Hands off to Thomas. And he will come up short. So that should bring out the punting unit, I would think.
You're going to see how aggressive Coach Griffin is right here in the 4th quarter.
2-yard carry brings up 4th down.
It is 4th and manageable. That is a big gamble to take with just under 8 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter. And right now, Whitfield is staying on the field to bring in their speed unit. Gonzalez, Spencer.
4th and 3 at the 40, just on the other side of the 45, 46-yard line.
I think they're going to try to draw them off sides, and then they're going to punt it.
Yeah, timeout taken.
You know, if you're punting it, it's almost good right there to take the delay of game because you have the wind at your back and you're punting anyways. It's not going to make much difference, and you save a timeout right there.
Penalty, timeout. Southwestern. First charge, timeout of the half.
So with the timeout, we'll take it with them. 7:17 left here. We'll be back here for hopefully the punt and a Blue Jay drive. All right, it's 4th and 3 here. Southwestern tried to draw the Blue Jays off sides. Called the timeout. Let's see what they draw up here.
Whitfield still in at quarterback.
See if they actually do a little pooch kick or he runs a play. They give it to Shannon, and he is taken down. Big play by the Blue Jay defense. Gamble there by Coach Griffin. Ball is near midfield. Touchdown up with 7 minutes. Decides not to punt. And that gives the Blue Jays a short field here to hopefully tie the ball game. Really interesting call there.
And Amadric Pelican was the first one to make contact. Shannon actually broke that tackle, and as you said, what a huge stop right there for the Blue Jay defense. Great field position to set up this drive for the offense.
You figure if they punt, it goes through the end zone. What's that start? 20, 25-yard line. That means the Blue Jays got to move it 75, 80 yards to tie this game. Well, that's been shortened a bit here by that call. And so with 7 minutes left, Blue Jays has some life here if they can move this ball.
The Mound Builders have brought that extra safety back down into the box, expecting the Blue Jays to run it, which they do to Johnson, and he's going to be met by just
several Mound Builders.
My goodness, that is an attacking defense right now, and that is led by the big guy in the middle. Zach Graves has been making a lot of defensive plays all night for this Mound Builder defense.
So that run is actually a 5-yard loss.
Brings up 2nd and 15.
Look at Zach Gray actually shed 2 tackles, and it's just a bunch of them. Torgerson's in there, everyone and their mother in there on the tackle.
Everyone except some Blue Jay blockers. So that pushes the Blue Jays back to the 41-yard line.
And the clock is ticking. Got to be wary of that clock.
McGee rolls to the right. Nice block by Johnson. Pass to Swims. And they say he is out of bounds. So that'll bring up 3rd down. Hard for us to see on this angle, but unable to gather it.
Good block, as he said, by Johnson. McGee had a lot of time as he rolled to his right. McGee's done that often today, kind of helping out that offensive line, blocking up front.
So big 3rd down play here, 3rd and long, 3rd and 15 by the Blue Jays. 6:19 left to go here. Blue Jays in need of a touchdown to tie this. McGee drops back, rolls a little bit to the right, gets a receiver across the middle. And Johnson gets it across the 50, but it's going to be about 3 yards short.
Complete to the 47-yard line.
You know, gain of 11 right there as a good play to set up a manageable 4th down if Coach Gardner elects to go for it. And of course, that is negated now. It's 3rd down again now, 3rd down and even longer.
I didn't catch that penalty. Who was that on?
Wasn't quite sure. I believe it was called holding. See Johnson coming out of the backfield, a rub route with the slot receiver. Torgerson with the tackle, but a holding negates that.
So that'll be 3rd and 25 now. 6:12.
And they run a screen pass, and that's going to be absolutely blown up. Blown up by number 26, DeLon LaFleur, the sophomore out of Cedar Hill, Texas. And now the Blue Jays are punting against the wind from their own 30-yard line, a drive that started at the 46.
Really impressed with this Mound Builder defense tonight, especially here at responding after that drive by the Blue Jays. The last few times they've been dominating the line of scrimmage.
Let's see if Gonzalez gets one. He's able to handle a wobbly kick into the wind. And it's going to be fielded by Blake Burnett at the 43-yard line of Southwestern. Good field position for the Mound Builders.
Southwestern's got to like their situation here. Up a touchdown, 5 minutes left. They take over just shy of the midfield. So let's see how they... Blue Jays in need of a couple big stops here. You know they're going to run the ball.
Blue Jays have used one timeout to only 2 remaining here with 5:19. Got to keep looking at that clock. The Mound Builders will do their best 4-minute drill, trying to stay in bounds and run as much of that clock as they can. And Jesse Thomas has been a patient runner all game long, but Mueller keeps as a whole.
Able to get 2 or 3 yards.
Pretty generous spot by the official at the top of the screen.
Soccer update from McPherson. Blue Jays able to get a goal here in the first half. As they approach halftime, Blue Jays up 1-0 over Central College. Blue Jays take a timeout, and we will as well. 5:05 left. Southwestern up 17-10.
Fans are reminded that no one is allowed beyond the 4-foot fence until after the game is over. Remember, no food, sunflower seeds, or sugary drinks are allowed on the track or field. We appreciate your cooperation.
All right, after the timeout, 2nd and 7. Blue Jays looking here to try to make a stop. Southwestern trying to get a fresh set of downs. Touchdown up, and the clock in their favor. 5:05 left. Thomas waits and taken down short, but that'll bring up something 3rd and manageable. 3rd and looks like 2, maybe 3.
That was a gain of 4 there. Good run by Thomas on 2nd down. Again, patience.
Waits for his blockers to get set and looks for a little gap. And
Make some noise, Tabor College fans. It's 3rd down.
3rd and 3 here. Big play for the Blue Jay defense. Clock is rolling. Play clock at 10. Mueller setting up here. Has Thomas to his right.
Blue Jays get a stop here. Gardner's going to use that.
Tough snap, hits the ground, and that allows the Blue Jay defense to get in there and get a stop.
Huge play by the Blue Jays defense, but that's just a bad snap from the center. Mueller was not able to corral it. I think it was supposed to be a speed sweep to the bottom of your screen right there, and just not able to corral it. And good penetration right there.
Several Blue Jays in there.
Leading the charge for the Blue Jays.
Punting unit comes out for the Mound Builders. Clock is ticking away. Blue Jays holding on to that timeout here.
That was a big play by Parker Folks, the sophomore from Clay Center.
Oh, the ball is dropped. Oh, man.
I think it was blocked, so there would be no flag for running into the kicker. And the punt still goes inside the 20. It could have been called a personal foul, but the white hat saw the ball was tipped by number 34, Amadric Pelican.
Man, he could have had more of that, though. Would have been nice.
I think Amadric was kind of nervous right there, kind of coming in so fast, worried about the personal foul, but he was able to get a fingertip on it. But still,
nice play by the punter, really. Stays composed, gathers himself, and gets that ball away. Oh. So the Blue Jays will take over at the 20-yard line. 3:24, a lot of real estate here to get across to tie this game. And honestly, not a lot of, haven't seen much indication for them to have consistent offense. So let's see what this offense can do here at the end. Quick pass out to the left. Sims gets it. Quickly brought down. That's about a 5-yard gain.
Got to secure that ball if you're Justin Swims right there.
Clock is ticking.
He's pass complete to Swims. 5-yard gain brings up 2nd and 5.
And you have to assume that this is the drive. This is the game right here. Blue Jays only with 1 timeout left inside of 3 minutes.
McKee keeps it up the middle.
And he fumbled it. Grant Torgerson forced the fumble right there for Southwestern, who has yet to recover a forced fumble all year
Fumble on the play.
as a team, and the officials in there sorting the pile.
And Southwestern looks like we'll take over possession. Let's watch a replay here.
Southwestern College recovers. They'll take over 1st and 10 at the 29-yard line.
Man,
Just a huge play there.
big hit by number 22.
Darren Hicks right there, the big guy, and also Torgerson colliding with that forced fumble.
Yeah, Torgerson coming in from that linebacker position late, that hit. So Southwestern in control here, 2:31. Blue Jays can only stop at one
2
time.
minutes and 43 seconds.
They will go ahead and put some clock back on as they run it. They did not stop the clock there during the scuffle for the football.
If all goes according to the plan, the Blue Jays could get the ball inside of a minute to go, but they would have to force a 3-and-out and hope for a missed field goal or a turnover on downs by Southwestern. Shannon Tanner Spencer, beg your pardon, is the Wildcat quarterback.
He's able to get a big chunk of yards, about 4 yards, 2nd and 6. Clock continues to tick. This should take it under 2 minutes here.
3-yard carry brings up
Gardner's going to
7.
wait to use that timeout until he absolutely knows. They're going to keep Tanner Spencer in there as the Wildcat. He has thrown a couple of times today.
He keeps it up the right side, stopped. 150 and counting. 3rd and looks like 6 or 7.
Gardner's calling the timeout now. Caleb Devine was with the physical tackle on Spencer.
Timeout. Tabor. It's their 3rd and final timeout of the half.
Again, really impressed with this Southwestern defense tonight. They have done a good job at several facets. We've seen some big plays by their linebacking crew, and they've managed for sure the line of scrimmage.
Have to give a lot of credit to the Southwestern coaches with their top 2 running backs out. Of course, they're a run-heavy team, and I think they're approaching 300 rushing yards on the ground. They're at 274 right now. Brooke Shannon is averaging an astounding 33 yards a carry, 4 attempts for 132 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, if this score stays, that'll be his big run on the left side here, where he was able to break through several tackles and get away from the defense and run it all the way into the end zone. And that is the difference right now. That's the go-ahead touchdown.
After the timeout,
Blue Jays able to
36.
tie this game at 10, but have not done anything since.
3rd down.
So big 3rd down and 6 here. Thomas off the right side, and he will come up short.
Want to be careful if you're the Blue Jays there not to get a penalty thrown on you. I think they're going to send out the kicking unit right here on 4th down.
4th down.
As you had mentioned, they have an all-conference kicker. I believe that is Dalton Rogers.
I think that was the punter.
Alfredo Botello, beg your pardon.
He hit I forget the exact distance last year. He hit one at the buzzer last year that gave them a win. I think that was over 50.
This one's going to be from 41, and again with the wind. Huge play here from that Blue Jay front.
Kick is up, has the distance, and it is no good. So the Blue Jays have a little bit of life here, wide right. And the Blue Jays will have it here with 54 seconds, no timeouts. We'll need to be smart with it.
1st and 10.
Let's watch the kick here from the right hash. And unable to hook it around there, get it in between. So
wide left. No timeouts. Blue Jays going to have to work the sidelines if they're going to want to get the ball downfield efficiently. They need a touchdown. Again, you have the ever-dangerous Derek Harper. Ever since that touchdown grab, he's been a little silent. Got Justin Swims, a big-bodied receiver. Blake Burnett's very sure-handed. Let's see what Ryan Nelson has drawn up. 54 seconds to go.
pushed out. Clock stops. Able to get a few yards there.
It's a gain of 6.
McGee's pass complete for 6 yards. Brings up 2nd and 4.
6 seconds off the clock, but it will stop as he went out of bounds. Blue Jays need to pick up yards in chunks. Southwestern's going to be in prevent defense. Trey McGee is going to need to be cognizant of where the sticks are if he uses the middle of the field so he can get a first down so the clock can at least stop momentarily.
Time in the pocket.
It is caught by Derek Harper in the middle of the field. A huge hit there by number 20. Trevon Crockett stops the clock momentarily. Clock at 42.
That's another
They're going to wait for the chains to set up.
Trying to get an offensive lineman off the field.
Johnson needs to get out of bounds.
Nice play by the senior doing that. Approaching the 50-yard line. 32 seconds left.
For 5 yards. Brings up second
You're going to
and 5.
see how well schooled this Blue Jay offense is, as you saw Johnson, knowing that he needed to get out of bounds, was able to gain 5 yards. Blue Jays are going to need to consistently move the chains in chunk plays with 32 seconds left to go.
Some good protection these plays, so see if that offensive line can continue to give McKee some time. McKee steps up, throw at the sideline, and that is a catch.
Number 19 for the Blue Jays, Lawyer Davis.
35-yard line.
That's another Tabor
And again, we have to understand that the wind is blowing against the Blue Jays, so long throws are going to be difficult. But they're putting themselves into pretty decent field position at this point. Great catch on the sideline, Lawyer Davis with the foot tap.
Nice chunk of yards there with 5 seconds off the clock. McKee rolls to the left. He's got some time again. Runs and is going to try to get to the sidelines.
Good coverage there by Southwestern.
20 seconds now left.
2-yard carry. Brings up second and 8.
Blue Jays are either going to need to get out of bounds or get a first down. Anything short of that is going to be detrimental to the clock in their favor. Bringing in the true freshman, DeJuan Jones, 6'3", 190, again from Texas. A lot of hype from the Blue Jay coaches about him.
2nd and 8 here. 20 seconds. All kinds of pressure here. McKee able to step in, throws it into the end zone, has Harper.
And that was the freshman DeJuan Jones right there.
Man.
And boy, what a great, not only was that a great throw, look at McGee step up in the pocket. They sent a blitz, rolls to his right, and on the run drops an absolute dime. I want to know if the defender got his hand in there.
No.
Did not, just short on little alligator arms right there by the freshman. Oh my goodness gracious.
14 seconds now.
I don't think Southwestern's going to be bringing a blitz again. Yeah, Justin swims wide open at the 20. And that would have got him just ever closer.
He's passing complete.
It is fourth down, but that's probably not a big issue here. 7 seconds, probably last play here for the offense. Oh my goodness. McKee getting some instructions here.
15 seconds on the play clock. Has to be a Hail Mary.
And as you mentioned, I would be surprised if Southwestern brought anyone besides their front three after that last. McKee rolls into the end zone, and that came up short and to the right, and I think that is the ball game. Well, there's a second left, but that'll be the turnover on downs. Disappointing there at the end.
Results in a turnover on downs. Southwestern takes over 1st and 10 from the.
So Southwestern will take over here and kneel this, and this will be the ball game. Impressive victory by the Mound Builders coming up to Hillsboro today. Get their first victory of the season. They will go to 1-2, 1-1 in the conference. And the Blue Jays will drop to 1-2, 0-2 in the conference.
Southwestern with over 300 yards of total offense, 279 yards rushing. They absolutely pounded the ball today with that huge offensive line that they have.
What about the Tabor total offense?
Tabor had a 257 yards of total offense, 99 yards rushing. Trey McGee getting the bulk of that with 81 yards on 16 attempts, 5.1 yards per carry.
September 21st, the Tabor College football team will be traveling to Wichita, Kansas.
Derek Harper had a great game, 5 catches, 68 yards, and that touchdown. The lone Blue Jay touchdown.
Bethany College for a non-conference game this Wednesday.
Southwestern, as you mentioned, picks up their first win of the season.
Will start at 7 p.m.
Blue Jays will be in Wichita next week. We'll play Friends, who dropped a game tonight to Kansas Wesleyan.
This Tuesday, September 17th, the Tabor men's soccer team will be hosting Kansas Christian College at 7 p.m. Next Saturday, September 21st.
Well, we thank you for joining us tonight. Not a great finish for the Blue Jays, but they will look to regroup, and a lot of football left to happen. A lot of football left in the season for the Blue Jays, and so stay tuned. We probably have some highlights here from the football game. And again, join us again for our next home game. Thanks so much for joining us.